Stan, is just to do with the trees and.
Oh, okay.
Stan not coming? Oh, yeah, he's coming.
Okay, so we'll call this to order at 9, whatever it is.
9:33.
Okay, and additions to the agenda.
We have delegation presentation, John Thompson, Shirley Turner. 5.2. 5.2. And then Ed, did you want to add the addition planning and development contract
I think, yeah, we should.
under 9.2?
Let's make the motion to move to approve the agenda as amended.
Shirley
Turner,
Turner.
Turner.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Do you have a copy of the agenda we can have?
Sure. There's just the cover page I have. Anybody else needs copies? Okay.
Okay, so we'll move into there's no public hearing, but so the minutes, there was 2 sets of minutes. One was from
August 16th and
Yeah.
then
August 6th.
the other one is September 12th. And I'll need a motion for each.
I didn't have any changes either. Remember. So Ed, did you have anything?
No.
Okay, you need someone to accept them.
I'll motion to accept the August 16th minutes. As presented.
Okay, and September 12th, did anybody have any? Yeah, all in favor?
There's a motion for 12.
Yeah.
Wow. Perfect.
Okay, and everybody's in favor. Okay, so now we're gonna go into delegations, so.
And I'll make a motion that we accept the September 12th minutes as well, too,
Perfect.
as presented.
Perfect, thank you.
We'll do this, each one separately.
Yes.
The August 16th, and now we'll do the September.
Okay, so.
All in favor?
Yep.
Delegations then, Walt,
Walt Carlson, I'd like to talk a little bit about. Last spring, council approved me to go ahead with the, to develop 3 half-acre lots. Plus or minus, in an existing subdivision on Earl's Way. And I've not been able to proceed on those because I can't get a document from anybody to identify what the requirements are to develop those lots. Need a signed document, something. In the past, although I'm working as an individual now, in the past, we did subdivision agreements like this that identified exactly what was required. Road, drainage, everything. And I have been unable to get that. So I need to do that. If I would have went ahead at that time, I went to White Sands Engineering Company in Red Deer at that time, and I asked them what I needed to do. It still didn't have anything. And at that time, they told me it would cost me $50,000 for a road, $50,000 for storm management, $15,000 to $20,000 for surveying, and another $15,000 to $20,000 for engineering. If I would have went ahead at that time, I would have been in a losing proposition with 3 lots. So since then, there's been some type of change in storm management. I'm unaware of. I can't seem to get any answers. So I need council's help. If I'm going to go ahead with these lots, I need to know what I have to do.
Question. Since you've been waiting for so long, who's responsible for not getting back to him in
Okay,
a timely manner?
the approval states what needs to be accomplished, and then what has to happen from a developer is the developer gathers all their engineering for their road, their drainage. And you usually hire your own engineers. And then you provide that documentation and we do up the agreement. If that documentation is not provided, we don't have anything to do up an agreement with. Because we don't have the proper engineered drawings to continue. So really, it's in hands, you've got your approval for subdivision. It is in your hands now to start pulling all the engineering together to provide to us so we can draft the agreement for you.
The problem with that is it's backwards. Because that means I have to pay the engineer, I've got to go through, I've got to pay for all those things without knowing that I have approval. I've got approval to go ahead with the subdivision, but I don't understand what I have to pay for. For instance, I was identified at that meeting, I got the approval that I need to worry about. May need to bring water and sewer, but I don't know if I need to bring water and sewer, so I can't really go ahead until we get something like this document that says, okay, you're gonna do this, this, and this. And in the past, we've done this, we've hired the white sand engineer, as you know, Warren, and with the white sand engineer developed drainage, roads, and then we've executed to that plan. But we had it all written down, and our lawyer signed it, your lawyer signed it, and then we could go ahead with it. Can't do it backwards, or I can't do it backwards.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is you need something from the municipality to outline the steps that you need to take. Is that what you're looking for? And agreement,
Subdivision agreement.
subdivision agreement, okay. And I will get you a list of what's required for the subdivision agreement and get it to you. You give me 24 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's fine, but I think what you're gonna come back with is. Our development officer is going to say, before you can do the subdivision agreement, I need all these things, so I need counsel to try to. Talk to the development officer, say, that's not the way we've done it.
What I need from council is a motion to get a list of the steps that are required. Because you've got subdivision approval, your application was approved. So now the rest of it has to flow through the list of the stuff that needs to be provided, so I'm not fully up to speed on this yet. But if you can give me time, and if council is in agreement, then I will get everything back to you within, give me a time frame, council. Give me a time frame so that I can get you the details.
Make it proper, it should be more than 24 hours. If that's okay, well, because it should be thorough. And as far as council knows, they already done, I have no idea.
Because I'm looking at some of the conditions here. Subdivision to be affected by a plan of survey. So we need a survey plan, all outstanding property taxes, you're fine with that I do know. The owner applicant shall enter into and comply with the terms and conditions of a development agreement. So it sounds like what you need is the development agreement laying out all the things that have to be attached to it. Which would be your plan of survey, your stormwater management, roadway construction, approaches, and other utilities as may be required.
Yeah, a document identify what the requirements are. And a signed document by council, so I know the requirements don't change.
Okay, you bet.
Either.
So you want to do a motion and a time frame?
What's the reasonable, like, what's it? If we didn't, if we want to make sure it's done.
I think
Take your time,
reasonable,
because I've lost another year, I can't develop it.
You've been into this, what, for 2 years now?
Yeah, I've lost all the
That's,
last
to
year.
me, that's.
okay, first thing I want is a motion from you guys to approve extending this subdivision approval.
Yeah, I'll make
Can I do that?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
that
so
has to
Lauren?
be done. It's a timeline on that,
Because usually it's a year.
yeah,
So this says the letter was sent August 22nd, 2022. So to me, you need to do an extension first.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lauren motions to extend
At least a year.
Better make it 2 because I don't get some.
subdivision application 2022.
It can be done.
Subdivision application 2022-147. Deadline to a year of August. From August 23rd. What's the date, say August,
Make it till the end.
Make it till the end of next year.
to the end of August 22nd, 2024.
Or the end of the year.
Let's make it 1 year.
Okay, we can always do it again.
Yes, because the end date would be August 22nd, 2023. We are going to extend it for another year to August 22nd, 2024. And that gives time for me to work with Walt now and get on top of this and see what's going
Okay, so as far as all in favor?
I'm in favor of that, yes.
on. Okay, and
So
then
as
you
far
want,
as the documentation that you have to put around.
now, that's what I want, is a motion to direct administration to provide Walt with information and timeline of the conditions required to be with the development agreement.
So there's gotta be something done already. And
I'm assuming it's usually a standard document and then you need all these things to go with it. So we need to
we'll
see,
we do it.
do we do it? No,
A week.
a week,
Or
sure.
till the end of the month.
Is
that
okay?
It's the end of the month, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
To investigate and provide a development agreement.
I'll make that motion.
There we go. I'll get my head around all this again.
You have a copy of the past subdivision agreement. They roll by.
I would have to go through and dig in your files. They're here, they're in the files. If you have one, I'll take a copy of it. Yeah, is this an extra copy?
Yeah,
Okay. Or do you need it?
I think you've got a copy. Yeah, good enough.
Okay.
I've got all their stuff too. Yes.
You guys are just a wealth of knowledge, thank you.
Who made the motion?
Okay. So this way we know we've got two motions and one extends the agreement.
The other one directs you to investigate and provide a development agreement by September 30th, 2023.
Exactly. Make sense? So,
Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor,
perfect,
And if I could just ask for one more thing,
okay,
the number around the storm management. What you're going to supply me with is a requirement to tell me if I've got enough money to do that subdivision. Part of that is storm management. It's,
I don't know if I can tell you what it's gonna cost to do a storm management plan, that even I. Have to hire an engineer to tell me what it costs to do a storm management plan.
So when we did Pheasant Terrace for that company. They did the whole area that would be affecting lots. All around it, so it's not gonna just be the 3 lots will contain there. And some of that is already done. With Pheasant Terrace,
Pheasant Terrace,
yeah, and,
so I'm looking for Pheasant Terrace drainage. Management plan,
yeah. I've got some of that at home.
do you have a copy of a full report?
Yeah, it's an engineered report, but it doesn't go. South top of my head, I don't think it goes right up to where you're property.
So
But it
if,
could be added on to that.
but that would be the only thing between lots, because we did drainage and road management plans with the White Sands engineer. On all that
way.
or Earl's Way, all the subdivisions, so that was all. Done and approved by White Sands, so it would only be 3 lots of drainage and water runs on.
Yeah, but it has to be done from an engineering
yeah,
perspective. village has.
So if you can provide me with the pheasant drainage management plan, I can forward you off
Well-
a copy of that so you understand what it kind of entails.
That was ours.
But it would lay out the detail of the plan that
Yeah.
you would have to provide.
I don't think Walt has. Walt was.
I don't have anything to do.
No.
I just had,
This was to do with the drainage, when we punch, the hole underneath the 40-4 and pump water. to
Onto
that
the
corner
other quarter section, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a file on that, and I can get you that, and I can't remember. I think it was Tagish. Engineering,
Okay,
but I'll get that to you.
but the last time I talked to Dean, Dean said he was waiting for the results of the storm.
yeah, unfortunately, I have to answer this one. With the changeover that's happening, and yes, we have a budget for it. But at this point, with everything that's going on, we've still got. I don't know if that storm management plan will get done this year. It may be postponed because we have these other things that we're progressing on. So there's never a guarantee, because in municipal government, sometimes there's certain things that have to end up being postponed. And this may be one of the ones that we might not be able to proceed on, because we've got to work on some others there too.
Has it been started? Wasn't it?
Not that I know of, no.
That's what I was told, that the only thing left to do was a small piece.
Stan?
That one area was, it was basically done, at least by the engineer for already.
So that, I still have to investigate all that, and that's where, if the time frame allows me to investigate where everything is at, but at this point, I haven't seen things. It's usually it's a report.
So is that satisfactory? As far as we can, that's as far as we can go here. And then Melissa dive into it. I'll get that plan for Pheasant Terrace, drainage plan. And we'll see how big it is.
Yeah, I wanna review it, and then I'll also contact the our municipal engineers to find out, maybe they can provide me a list of stuff that also. I can't give you money costs, all I can say is what's required. I'll get a copy of a development permit.
Not sure where that plan goes, whether it goes that far. But also when we did that Pheasant Terrace, flood. Litigation project, then it, or litigation project, it was, there was no drainage plan for the Pheasant Terrace.
The,
There probably was for Earl's Way. But remember, Pheasant Terrace was put in after, right? After. That was a separate. That was a separate subdivision.
but it put in the same terms, so we had to use it with the
Yes.
engineer.
Yeah. Changed companies. But we can still get some. Sure. Okay, so is everybody okay with that, you guys?
Yes.
Good.
You have any motions?
I got my motions, yeah.
And you're all approved?
They're all approved, they're.
Perfect. Okay, and make sure, okay.
Okay, so we'd like to call on John Thompson and Shirley Turner, please.
I'm assuming you have the correspondence that I sent in.
Yeah, it's right in front of us.
So have you read it or should I just go through it?
I think you should go through it.
Okay.
first.
Start. September 1st, 2023. To Mayor Lauren Thurston, Deputy Mayor Ed Wong, Councillor Robert Bob Huff, and CAO Melissa Beebs. My name is Shirley Turner. I live in Stettler, Alberta, and I'm a retired bylaw enforcement officer from the city of Kearney. I co-own lot number 15 Horseshoe Lane, at the summer village of White Sands with my son here, John Thompson. John Thompson lives in Red Deer, is a firefighter for the city of Calgary, and owns 2 lots at the summer village of White Sands. So we have 2 issues here, one being the land use bylaw 186-22, and number 2, permits for use of RVs on our lots. So we'll start with number 1, land use bylaw 186-22. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat. We are requesting the village of White Sands change the status of lot number 15 Horseshoe Lane from 1 to 2 recreational vehicles, as was the original designation. I am suggesting that council and staff look at this closely and comprehend how it makes sense that one property has 2 recreational vehicles designation, and one property bought in the same time frame has 1 recreational vehicle designation. We prefer not to seek legal counsel to resolve this issue. This is a simple oversight in the initial determination of 1 RV or 2 RVs per lot, and can easily be rectified by council. Having further discussions with previous councillors and owners of grandfathered properties, it is our contention the staff erred last year when the lots were being assessed at White Sands for their designation of allowing 1 or 2 recreational vehicles. In particularly, lots number 15 and 17 Horseshoe Lane are side by side. Half-acre lots developed at the same time in Craig's Cove development project. Current Deputy Mayor Ed Wong can attest to these facts, as he was the acting representative for the developer at that time. Number 1, the lots in this new subdivision were purchased under a certain set of assumptions, one being that each half-acre lot was allowed to have up to 2 recreational vehicles. Number 2, John purchased lot number 17 Horseshoe Lane in February. That should be 219, typo, not 220. Number 3, lot number 15 Horseshoe Lane was purchased at about the same time by Warren Taylor. Warren has confirmed that lot number 15 was allowed 2 recreational vehicles and is prepared to testify to that fact. Shirley Turner and John Thompson purchased the adjoining lot from Warren in June of 2021, before the land use bylaw was finalized. Number 4, in June of 2022, land use bylaw 186-22 was approved by council and announced changes to property owners, which now changes the RV allotment rules and stated that lot number 15 is only allowed 1 recreational vehicle, yet lot number 17 is allowed 2 as originally specified. Number 5, John spoke on the phone with the previous CAO, Melissa Beebs, at the Roshan Sands office on the advice of Councillor Ed Waugh after John saw this of grandfathered properties posted at Ed's store, and lot number 15 was not on it. He spoke with Mrs. Beebs on the phone, and she agreed that lot number 15 should be looked into about being grandfathered. However, it was at the end of her employment, and she suggested because of this that we speak to the new CAO, Dean Pickering. I think that's right, Pickering?
Yeah.
When John spoke with the CAO, Dean Pickering, about grandfathering of lot number 15, Dean said that lot number 15 has never had more than 1 RV permit issued. He was correct, as there was never a second RV on the property. He just assumed that if only 1 RV was there, it was only a 1 RV property. They made the decision on who paid permits. However, this argument makes no sense, as lot number 17 has never had paid permits until the new bylaw and was grandfathered for 2 RVs. Why wasn't number 15 grandfathered at the same time for 2 RVs? Both properties were sold as 2 RV properties. So we'll deal with that one first. So we are asking you, how was the decision made to grandfather number 17 and take away the designation of number 15? We can't seem to get an answer for that. I'm not sure, Melissa, if you got the email from John yesterday asking how the decision was made, but it wasn't, you never got a response to that?
Yes, because I had in the email, which you guys were copied on the email. I did up the data sheet that showed how we've been tracking RVs. If you go to page 17 in your package. Of all the information that's provided, there is the breakdown. Of all the RV permits I can track from 2020. 2016 up to 2023. In relation to how the bylaw was set up, you also have a copy of the bylaws. That outline. How your original land use bylaw was and to the new land use bylaw. And it still had on there, if there was no developed. Dwelling unit. You could have an RV, but you still had to pay for a permit.
Yeah, the issues
During.
grandfather.
Right, but during COVID, nobody was. We had the data, we've always collected the data. But you guys had waived charging or collecting the fees. So you purchased the properties that I've got would come into our documents, land titles, September 2021.
No, 219, it was purchased.
17.
That was by the
15,
original
21.
owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you guys purchased it September 2021 is what I've found. So, and I checked with Angela, everything went by the data we've been collecting.
So by data, you're referring to counting of trailers on lots, that's
Yes.
data?
Yes,
So that's how the designation for grandfathering was
yes,
decided.
because we couldn't go by the fees paid because there had been during COVID, you guys had decided not to collect fees on RVs during the COVID process.
Well, that is not what CAO Dan
Pickering.
Pickering
He told
Told
me it
us.
was done based on
fees paid.
permit fees paid. For the lots.
Because we didn't know the prior history of COVID.
Okay,
That's been the issue, and I went through this backwards and forward. It's always been data.
Okay, and
That's what
when
the
I
bylaw
was
was
in here the other day asking about data, and I asked you, I said, did you actually go around and count the RVs before you made your decision? And you laughed. You said, we wouldn't do that. That's
No,
exactly
no.
what you said to me.
I said it's the data we collect. I did not have, I had just got here, we'd come in just after we just opened up. I hadn't had time, we didn't have our software stuff installed yet, so I couldn't go back to reference in there. But I did finally, now that we've got everything here, we have been tracking since 2016. It's listed in
Okay.
the document.
That's beside the point for that. How did you
Okay.
make the decision to grandfather number 17, but not grandfather number 15? That's what we need to know.
That was based on the data, which shows that. Sure. You guys have it also. It is on page
okay, so yeah,
17 to 18 and 19, and lot 17 has always had 2 RVs on it all year.
can we request to know who's counting trailers? Because I see on here, even this year, you have all my emails of when my trailers have been on and off my lots. I found 4 errors in the last 3 months.
Okay,
The person that does the inspections. Does it once a week
Yep,
and the bylaw was done, it used to be you could, after 30 days, you would have to take the RV off for 5 days if you didn't want to pay the 300 a year.
correct.
So that 5 days was extended to 10 days. So that would allow the person that goes around and does the red sheets. That then there would be, it would be easier to track because of that. That was good. But as far as letting you know who did it, I don't think that's,
Okay, that's
That's
fine.
irrelevant. yeah.
Where it is relevant is I followed the letter of the law this year for the 30-day permits.
Yep.
For any additional permits. If the counting's wrong here and I get issued a ticket or a fee. So every time I've moved a trailer, an additional 30 days, I've sent an email. I usually don't hear back for a couple of weeks. Then when I remove it, I also send an email, which I don't hear back for a couple of weeks, and the counting is wrong. So if the counting's wrong and it says I have 3 when I don't have 3, technically I should be fined for that. Based on your guys' new land use rules. So if the counting's wrong on specific dates that's timestamped above. How does that allow me to be in compliance, I guess?
So when it came to enforcement, we didn't do much enforcement during COVID. So in 2021, what we did is we waited until we did the last inspections to go through the numbers. And then we just went through and so, okay, if there was 2 RVs on a property for a certain consistent amount of time, then we would send out an invoice. And that's what we did in 2021. I think now, since I've come back, I'm hearing now that they're following the tracking system and the invoices are going out after in a monthly timely manner.
Yeah, but the tracking system is wrong, and we have emails to prove that the tracking system is wrong.
Okay,
So I guess
Sent
for the
to,
first issue, we're requesting that 15 Horseshoe Lane be. Grandfathered, same rights as 17 Horseshoe Lane. What we're asking.
so council, if you wish to make any changes to the land use bylaw, you'd have to go through the process that was laid out in the land use bylaw for amendment.
no, that's not true. You need legal opinion on that, because I really looked into that. You absolutely do not need. Public input to amend a mistake that you made when you did this. We were not informed that number 15 had the RVs taken away. We bought that property with the understanding that 2 RVs were allowed on that property permanently. Just because we did not pay and because your counter did not count 2 RVs that day that you were making the decision, you took it away from us. I didn't even find this out till this summer that it was taken away. You never informed me that it was taken away, and you never informed John that he was grandfathered until he saw a list at Ed's store. We had no clue.
We based it on the data, that's all I can say.
Okay, well, I'm telling you that the mistake was made. We are asking the mistake to be reversed. Because a mistake was made, you don't need to amend the land use bylaw, absolutely not. You need to amend the grandfathering that you did.
Because it is all part of the whole land use bylaw, you can't just amend.
No, I suggest you get a
That
legal
one.
opinion, because that's not true.
the actual page that lists the. That have 2 RVs is not separate. It's actually in the land use bylaw. It's not a schedule or something else, like a development permit application is out of the land use bylaw, because then you can change fees and stuff. But this piece is very actually in the land use bylaw.
Yes, but you changed our designation of our property. That's what you did without our approval, without even talking about it, without our opinion, without conversation. You changed number 15 and granted number 17. We don't understand that rationale. So somebody needs to explain that rationale to us. We're not asking for anything that we didn't have in the first place. And grandfathering, right, is a clause, also a legacy clause. It's an exemption that allows persons to continue with activities or operations that were approved before the implementation of new rules, regulations, or laws. We are just wondering why we weren't grandfathered. Well, what's the reason behind that?
Well, as far as.
Like, who made that
Personally,
decision? Made the decision number 17 is grandfathered and number 15 is not.
It could be.
It was based on the data that we have right there in front of you.
And we don't believe your data as we can prove 4 mistakes.
And the land use bylaw still allows for up to 4 units on a property. It's just that some were grandfathered based on your consultation that you guys did as a committee, your public consultation and your public hearing.
Yeah, 4 units is just for 5 days straight.
Right.
So,
And that's irrelevant to our,
yeah,
what we're talking
yeah,
about.
but it's.
And land use bylaws, you do need to, you had to amend your land use bylaw to become in legal proximity within the guidelines that were created to the Municipal Government Act with your Buffalo Lake IDP, which your previous bylaw was not.
Yeah, again, irrelevant.
It may be irrelevant, but it's all part of the picture of why. the
Yes,
bylaws-
but
the
you
bylaws
took, you
changed.
took away something from us that
Certain
we
lots,
bought.
certain lots you did and certain lots you didn't.
Yes,
Based on data that we're saying has erroneous parts to it for sure.
So when the land use, the new land use bylaw, and obviously I wasn't on council when that happened. Was there was obviously a list of properties that were allowed 2 things, right?
Correct, the data that you have in front of you is just for their lots, but we have a full listing of every lot and property within the
But
municipality.
no lot owner on that list was consulted about this, period.
Actually, I do have the data of who came and attended, and this is how the discussions came to me.
No lot owner was informed whether you were having 1 or 2. That was not submitted to anybody that.
or taking away our
Because the
designation.
bylaw is in council's realm. That is, a bylaw is in council's realm. Councils can change bylaws. It happens in every municipality.
The bylaws, you can change the bylaw
Yes,
anytime you want, absolutely.
Yes.
It's the grandfathering of selected lots, is what's the issue.
Well, the existing amendment to the bylaw, that list of. That you saw down the, it's. And getting store is actually the one that's in the land use bylaw. And when you do the land use bylaw, you do public hearing and you get first reading, second reading and third reading, but in between that is public hearing. And it's advertised, and it's advertised.
Facebook, I mean, I come out
Not
8
on
weeks a
Facebook,
year.
it's also on our village website and then newsletter.
Yes, I never got a thing. I don't do Facebook. I never got 1 notice and you don't have me on your email and what you did is the wrong email address.
I can only go with what people provide us for the emails.
Well, I'm
That's
sorry,
okay.
but you took away something and didn't inform me that you took it away from me. Is that not just? Shouldn't you have done that?
Did you own the lot at the time? or-
Yes.
You did.
At 100%. All I'm asking is to grandfather it to what I had bought it at. And you can do that by an amendment of a mistake. You do not need to amend the whole bylaw.
I wish Leanne was here.
I talked to Leanne and then I talked, and I can call a lawyer if you wish me to call a lawyer and ask. But again, to amend a land use bylaw based on the Municipal Government Act, you must go through this process of. You'll have to advertise, you have to hold a public hearing, and then you can make your amendment. Even if it's a wording change, then you have to do another bylaw to amend or consolidate. Any changes to another bylaw.
You're just amending, you're saying to me that the list of grandfathered properties are in this bylaw?
Yes.
Yeah, so you just need to amend the bylaw to add our now.
We have to go through a whole public hearing for an amendment.
Yeah, no, you're wrong, Melissa.
It's stated right in the bylaw itself, to amend the bylaw, you must go through, and which is in relation to the sections of the municipal.
You amend
government.
bylaws all the time.
Different bylaws take different amendments, but you must now, with the new Municipal Government Act, in planning, you have to follow that process. So it's up to you, council, if you want to amend
I think
it.
that this is a very complicated effort. And maybe not to everybody, but I think it needs some more looking into. And
Thank you.
I would like to have Ann personally come to a meeting with yourself and council.
Who is Leanne?
Leanne Brown.
Oh, Leanne Grant, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't have enough
I know that
information
I
to make a
was,
decision here today, unfortunately, you know, like I said.
Well, we can't make this decision right now.
So I think what we
We're gonna
need
have
to
to
do
talk
is,
into it.
is talk to Leanne and maybe get a legal opinion on changing the bylaw and stuff like that. Yeah.
the
Cause something isn't right, right? I don't know if you agree with me or
Well,
not, but there's
I-
just something wrong.
it's great for me.
Yes.
Because I don't have clarity of what went on. And it is also to do, when COVID came along, council at the time decided that it was hard on people, so we waived the fees. And then.
So that's why we didn't get billed.
When it came back in. Or, you know, when things settled down after COVID, then that's how it started up again. So if there's a lot, like this maybe isn't pertinent to you, but if there's a lot that sells. Changes hands. That 2RV is disappeared.
At
Do you
one,
have to amend the bylaw then, when that
Yes.
happens?
No, because it's listed right on there in the bylaw that as soon as that property sells or changes hands, then they are no longer part of that grandfather.
But you have to change the list then on the bylaw, is that lot going somewhere else,
Yes, it's crossed off.
up, down?
yeah, so I
Because that's an easy reference
The
for
other-
us, because we have the land title
it's
document.
simple of adding things,
The other,
crossing off.
the other part of that is that if someone, let's say, wants to have an RV or. 2 RVs on there and they pay $600 a year, if they go along and don't, and just pay $300. That's it as well.
Well, that's what Melissa's saying, that that's not how it was decided though. She's adamant that it's data.
It was data during COVID, now it's on fee thing, right?
But it always is based on fees. Your data is what tells us
Yeah,
who's got it up there to send an invoice. It's just that in 2021, we waited until the end of the season. Pulled the numbers and then sent the invoices. So that's because it was very hard to turn around and send, say, somebody had 4 RVs on a property, but they actually only had 2, and it was just the occasional extra, which is allowed in the land use bylaw, so we didn't want to overcharge, we wanted to make sure we were just consistent.
It's just the maximum to.
Yes,
4 is just a weekend for a family.
Right. yes.
And now it's changed, it's 30 days you can have someone visiting without
Right,
just
For-
sending.
But when you want the 4, you ask for a permit,
yeah.
Yeah.
then a week goes by, you don't get the permit. Which is the
Well,
problem.
they do, the person that does the checking generally puts that permit up, but
I think
You
you
know,
need
it
another
wasn't
person
it
in doing
wasn't-
checking seriously, because we have email proof now and 4 mistakes in 2023 alone. So that person should actually come to the meeting and explain to us how you got this, when you did the checking, or are you just writing numbers down? We have email proof this year.
Yeah, I think we need to calm this down to the point of, do you want to amend the bylaw or not? Do you want further information?
well, I think you need further information because there's a lot of stuff here. And
Because I could get a legal opinion, you want to do a legal opinion and then have the planner come.
yeah, I think we should get this
Yeah.
looked at. Properly, because it's still
So when you get
There's a
that
lot of-
legal opinion, Melissa, please ask them why we're not informed of the grandfathering. No, not no owner was informed, is my understanding, maybe you did inform other owners,
And that's
but
here.
you didn't inform us.
That's where the clarity comes in is. I sent you all the sections, it's back in the Municipal Government Act. We followed the process of the Municipal Government Act, we did the email news.
Not me, you
Email
did
is
not, I never got a thing, and
Unfortunately, not everybody has signed up, and there's certain things I can't do, I did find yours.
But when they build a garage in Red Deer or Calgary, they send a notice to everyone in the neighborhood, you're building a garage by mail. They're just posting, and I know you sent the or. I mean, for a simple garage build in any city, you get a letter that if you have a problem or it's posted in the newspaper, not just Facebook and.
And you're correct, in Red Deer, that works fine, you're the problem, if we choose the newspaper here,
No,
you may be in Red Deer, you won't get the newspaper
you
here.
took
so-
away something from us without informing me.
Unfortunately, I can't answer all of your questions other than we follow the process. I can get a legal opinion on that for council if that's what council's looking for to make sure the process was followed according to the Municipal Government Act. Unfortunately, it's like a tax notice. We put up an ad for the tax
Tax
notice,
notice you get in the mail.
right, but sometimes there could have been a change of owner or your address changed and it's not updated in our system, and if you don't receive it, then we have an ad that goes out in the newspaper and on our.
You're fine
website.
getting money though, on that one, for sure you will.
But you see how the process can get convoluted just by the way the regulations are.
Not when you change. Land use and bylaw changes are fine when you're grandfathering select lots and not others, so that there's an issue.
And that's up to that's council's decision to ask.
And 17 and 15 were bought at the same, around the same time,
For the land use change.
before the land use change. Ed knows that, Ed knows we were, had
Yes,
two
there
RDs.
was a different owner on
Yeah.
lot 15 and
Not
that's
you change.
in
the bylaw.
2020, and then you guys bought, you bought.
Before the land use bylaw is what
You
we're telling.
bought 17 the same time as the other person who bought the lot 15.
Correct.
Yes, yeah, I got that. And then you purchased that other lot in 2021.
Correct, on the old bylaw, sent it.
Well, yeah, I
The
guess.
mistake's been made, that's all.
I guess we
Mistakes
need,
been made.
we need to talk to Leanne, we need to.
And if you are opening it up, I've spoke with 4 other residents that weren't informed as well. So this is not just a sole issue, if you're not gonna just amend this, then it's gonna get opened up probably for everybody. So if that's when you did it was during COVID, I think you should open it up for every person.
Oh, no, the bylaw wasn't done during COVID, I'm saying the fee charges. That was,
Bylaw was,
the bylaw was, the committee came into line in the fall of 2021. But everything in the process of the bylaw review happened in 2022. And then your first reading was done May 2022. And then you had a public hearing the end of May 2022, and you did your final readings of the bylaw in June 2022.
bylaw's fine, you can change the bylaw.
Yeah,
It's the
we have no
grandfather,
problem with the bylaw. Of course you can
Which
change
you've
it,
incorporated into it, but the grandfathering is where's the issue.
So that
and
would-
how it was, the decision was made. If we would have had 2 RDs on that day the counter came around. We would have been fine, we would have been grandfathered. See, that's crazy.
I can't say for sure what would happen, because if I look at 2021's data. And look at lot 15, most of the time in the sheets, it has 1. It did have the occasional extra one for
Yeah.
a week or 2,
Did,
but nothing that was consistent other than the 1. 17 had 3 on 1 week and then 2. And then, but those are still allowable in the land use bylaw.
That's right,
so-
that's right, that's not what we're arguing.
Yeah.
We're arguing that you never came and spoke to Shirley Turner and John Thompson. And said, we're changing your designation from 2 RVs to 1, do you have a problem with that? And especially me, because I'm not on your email list, I don't do Facebook, and I don't read, and what if I'm not out there all summer? I only use it 3 months of the year.
There's lots of, that is an ongoing problem with a lot of some villages, because most of the population does not live within. The village, right? So, like 45% of our folks that have property out there are from Calgary and Mary. Like, that's just Calgary
Yes.
and Mary, right? So we used to do mail-outs all the time. And then it got to the point where it was fairly expensive, because you were looking at 300 or whatever that is, and then the time for important items to get there were not. Sometimes would be late, because there was a lot going on, particularly Paradise Shores. Items, but then it was decided, really encouraged a lot for all the ratepayers to get on the Red Sands mailing list.
Yeah, that's fine, and that should be someone's job, maybe that should be the bylaw officer's job when a new owner comes on board. To get their email address and then send it.
Or, but if you had somebody to go around and count trailers specifically for this data. Could they not have stopped and said, hey, do you want to be a 1 trailer lot or a 2 trailer lot, right?
Yeah, that all what a person does is just do inspections. It's
Yeah, something went amiss with that whole count.
well, certainly to do with not charging for number one, and the timing of the lots being changed. The new land use bylaw was passed for in May in 2022. So all this is gonna have to be put together. And not in 47 pages. Unless it's, we gotta keep this short and sweet, like the information first. 'Cause, I mean, we can sit here and
That's right.
surmise all day.
Well,
And it's-
this was their information they provided to me. The back information was. I think your last 5 pages is things that I pulled up that are in relation to your land use bylaw and the data.
Which counselor was on this committee from here?
Me.
You were, so do you remember, did you
Yes,
do
I
it
did.
through permits or data? Cause the previous CAO said it was through permits, paid permits.
I would think it would have, like, that specific part. I can't answer you. Honestly, because it could have been one or the other or both, and
Okay,
I can't,
so there's 3 other committee members, right?
there was
3 public at large, yes?
3. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
public at
and
large,
there was-
certified.
Maybe we can ask them, and the 2 other people on that committee, right?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not gonna provide their names out because that's, they've sat on a committee, they put their names in.
All I want
place.
is information. All I want is how you made this. You cannot tell me how you made this decision. One CAO says something, one CAO says something else.
I can gather you the minutes of where the appointments were done. I will send you a copy of the minutes. But I cannot give you any other details other than who is appointed to the committee.
Well, it's a small village, we'll find out, so that doesn't matter.
Like, I don't wanna invade anybody's privacy.
No, that's fine.
because When they put.
All we
themselves
want
out-
is. All we want is our designation back. It was taken away. It's all we're looking for.
So that's the request you're putting into council.
That's the
Council is
request
going to
we're
make
putting
a
in.
Motion on, you wanna seek legal? You wanna repeat?
Moved by Counselor or Mayor to direct administration to seek a legal opinion in regards to land use bylaw 186-22 review. And change in regards to notification of landowners when amending the land use bylaw by discussing and having and have planning agency attend next council meeting. So to amend the land use bylaw and have planning agency attend the next council meeting.
With the pertinent information of the,
I want grandfathering in there too,
that's why we're gonna send it off to for a
Yeah,
legal
but-
opinion
with the clause grandfathering,
with the grandfather. clause.
Yeah. very important.
Well. So be it, but actually. We're making the motion.
Okay,
right? So that can be,
But it-
in, but you cannot, as a delegation, have anything to do with the motion.
okay, I'm asking you to do that because
That's
it'll
fine.
just come right
I've
back.
got to be very clear on that.
Okay, that's fine. I understand that.
It says here. I wanna drag this out too much longer, but. It's something that certainly has to be straightened around. And if this is, you said could be opened up for the whole Summer Village White Sands,
It will.
yes.
That's why a simple amendment.
May not be as simple as that, right? That's the issue.
There's scenarios that could happen,
Well,
unfortunately.
you told me, you also told me, Melissa, that the reason you had to cut out some of the RV properties is because you had. And I,
It's the Buffalo Lake ID.
yes, and that they were telling you you have to get it down for further development to so many properties. And
Correct,
that RVs now are considered
a
dwelling.
dwelling unit.
Yes, so
Correct.
that's one of the main reasons, and that's just wrong.
Well,
What's that?
unfortunately, we can't
Oh.
fix that. The BLIDP changing their information.
Yes.
That had nothing to do with.
Well,
it.
that's not what Melissa says.
It doesn't have, that was to do with 5 municipalities making that decision. And they changed the definition in the Buffalo Lake IDP. So that an RV on a lot counts as a dwelling unit.
Correct.
And we have a capacity in the Summer Village White Sands for 505 units. So that is properties, and if a property has a dwelling unit on it, if a property has 2 RVs on it, that counts as 2
That's
development.
Yes,
Yeah,
so that came into the decision, is my understanding also, right?
It is
Oh,
because that is a hierarchy document. That if we didn't bring our land use bylaw in line with that document, we would not be following the provincial legislation.
So do you know
So,
how many
I'll-
units we have in White Sands?
Uh, with the number that are in here. Like in the land use bylaw, the 16 that were. Put in it when it was done, some of them are gone because they changed title. And so it was getting pretty close with future development, because like Walt and
Well, it's 3 lots.
Nelson's, but they have a bunch more property too.
Yeah.
And then also there's the rest of Buffalo Ranch Estates. So that was pushing us within about a dozen, the 505. It
Yes,
was developed out.
So you looked at the data then, you considered that
as part of the
as
counts.
part of the
And the
counts.
dwelling unit changed to the
That
Buffalo
was
Lake
definitely
IDP.
part of it.
Yeah,
Because what it can do actually, if there's 2 units on a. 2 trailers on RVs on one lot, and there's a bunch of lots with 2 RVs, that could stop development. That could stop a new lot.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
And. It's 5 municipalities, so that's County of Camrose, County of Lacombe, County of Stettler, Goshen Sands, White Sands are the members of the Buffalo IDP. And that amendment to the land use bylaw through definition was spearheaded by the county of Camrose because they were having trouble with this. I don't know. Actually, how else it could be. Looked at, but that's was decided by the municipality, so that's gonna be. Extremely difficult to change, and I don't think it.
Yeah, we're not asking for that change.
No, just
though.
because we bought it in the land use change, it's.
All we're asking for is grandfathering
And
as number
we'll
17.
do some more investigation,
investigated.
but if this opens up to the whole village and is challenged. We could stop development. You understand?
Not a problem though. Not a problem for it not being done properly in the first
But I'm
place.
just trying to let you know what the consequences can be, you can
The cons-
stop a subdivision.
You could also end up losing that whole process. So the
So then that's
consequences-
what I'm suggesting, ask the legal counsel for. What it would take to just amend a mistake that was made, a grandfathering mistake. That's why I think that's important to have that in there.
I will send them the whole land use bylaw and reference that section. But again, I will wait for the legal opinion and provide it to council, but there will be a process that you're gonna go through. Yeah. It may not be what you want to hear. I don't know.
And then we'll decide after that what happens, right? So, but then that brings us into number 2, and we'll do this quickly. The RVs, so number 2 was the permit for use of RVs. So, you have this also on your page 1, I'll just go page 1 through 8. Page 1 through 10 are emails that we sent. Because you have to do that now for a permit for an extra person to come on your property for
30 days.
30 days, right?
Yeah, 30 consecutive days.
Correct. So I got the letter of the law, actually, it was sent to me and I followed it perfectly. Emails were sent on and off. The result of this, recently we sent for a permit request, we had to cancel a family reunion because we weren't given the request and it was over a week. The system's not working. I'm trying to work within it. Spoke with Melissa, I'm going to CC her on emails now. When you're requesting a permit, I understand, I don't know if it's a volunteer, she seems like a very nice lady, but if you're requesting a permit, you don't hear back 10, 15, 20 days from the request. I'm only out here 8 weeks a year, don't know exactly when a friend decides to come. I put in the request to follow the rules. The 30 days one is one thing. I know she just said you can just let us know when it's on and off, but it's the 4-day, the 4-person permit is a couple times a year for wedding or family reunion. Unfortunately, we had to cancel one this year, and that's what started all this.
We didn't want to be fined for that, and that included a lot of people that had to cancel their plans for the family reunion.
Yeah, I agree that has to be somehow
Yes.
fixed,
We want.
because it's,
It just doesn't work, and Leanne doesn't deal with this anymore, she's handed over to Angela. And it takes sometimes 10 days to get an email back that we requested for the weekend, it was too late then. Right.
from Angela.
Yes, you put in, and you have copies of every email we've sent. And the replies from Angela.
So
And
just
how
so
long
you
it
know,
takes.
since I've come on.
Oh, yes.
My plan is before the RV permits kind of went through us. I don't know what happened in between, but we're gonna work on putting in a software program. We're gonna pull it back to the office here. And it's gonna be, we're gonna handle the RV permits and then actually get the permitting process going, with the proceeding and the billing. Because I don't think it needs to be going to the development officer when it comes to the RVs, since we've got all the tracking stuff here. Does that make sense to everybody? It's just easier if RV permits are RV permits, we can go through the list, we can see where things are, what lots are what, and to make sure it's in alignment with the land use bylaw. It's a permit, it's a temporary permit.
And is there something going on that you're like with that family reunion or whatever? You can call me anytime, I'm there.
Well, Melissa has suggested now that we email her on it, she wants to know, so I will phone, yes.
But if
definitely.
it's a
We haven't heard.
weekend and you're not getting a response. I don't mind taking a call and looking into it,
Okay,
and I'm retired there.
yeah, because the last one was September 4th. It says on your data sheet here, September 8th, we had it off, we actually had it off September 4th.
And where that matters is I just want to end up with a plan. Totally in compliance this
You're not
year.
gonna get a phone.
No, we're not really into the fine part of it, we're just
Well,
trying
that's
to.
what council reviewed, though, we both said, well, we don't want to fine for that, because there would have been a lot extra trailers on there, right?
Well, 4 per lot.
But
Yeah.
But that's 8 side by side, someone's counting, right? So.
Yeah.
For me, most of it is, if I'm kept informed, like unfortunately, I was not.
Yeah, I think we'll get this under.
Yeah.
It was just on our,
But that's how this whole thing came up, right? Is
Yes,
if I can't even get the permits, I want what was originally entitled to my title.
and then we never have to email you again.
no, I wanna,
Give us our grandfather, and we never have to email you again.
I wanna keep the process open, I wanna make it better, and that's what I'm here to do.
Okay,
Well, and that's the thing is that I always felt that when the notices were sent out. They were done in the fall sometimes.
I prefer the fall because then I've got all the data for the whole season. And to me, it makes sense. And then when I send it out in the fall, then you have
Yeah.
the timeframe to pay it. If not, because it is a land use bylaw, it can be transferred to your tax roll and then penalties will be applied.
yeah, so
So it's a simple.
just a
process.
suggestion that you need to have a meeting with the counter. Cause she's counting wrong. And we have email proof of this now. So if you want a separate meeting about that, we can give that all to you.
I would prefer to just try and tweak and fix
Okay,
where we're at, because we see there's issues. I'm not gonna say there isn't, and I'm gonna fix it.
okay,
But that's the whole point of moving forward, taking all this in and saying, how can we make it better?
yes,
Well, thank you.
okay.
You're welcome.
And the other thing is we can ask the folks that are doing the inspections. To just to reiterate that the day it's done is the day that it is marked. on the Sheet.
Yeah, and I don't know how they do it. Do they take pictures? Pictures would be easy this time with data in
No,
this day and age.
They have, they just do a count versus.
Cause then you have time date, right, stamped on the picture too.
That's why we wanna increase and make our software better. We think we have a plan. We just have to investigate it so we can actually mark and track her property.
Perfect,
That's our intent.
perfect. Okay, that's all we have.
Sorry about the mess and I feel straightened around. It's just that sometimes.
Yeah.
The understanding of it.
Okay, so
Okay, we have a motion for you guys to consider.
to direct administration to seek a legal opinion in regards to land use bylaw 186-22 review. And change in regards to notification of landowners when amending the land use bylaw regarding. The quote, subject to receive an annual development permit for two permanent recreation vehicles. Unquote, page 47 of the land use bylaw 186-22. And have planning agency attend next council meeting with the pertinent information.
So I covered all that? And
I think
Ed's
so.
got his finger going up.
So, Councilor Waugh. And.
All in favor?
David, yes.
Very clear direction. Thank you.
We're ready.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, Sam.
Okay.
Now we have one more delegation. I don't know. Okay.
Stand jury.
Well, we had the,
The popcorn.
you wanted to put Daycor.
We,
Oh, that's
that's
We
it.
put planning agency.
Nine, oh, we put planning,
That's in
yeah, we
your
put
business.
planning agencies, so that'd be great.
Yeah, Great Course under new business, 9.2.
9.2.
Planning development.
So.
Do you want to put that camera?
We amended it, the agenda.
It really shouldn't be in camera. It's just a discussion, a simplified discussion that everybody has to agree on.
See, it might get heated though.
If you want to move it into camera, I'll leave that at council's discretion. How's that? At the time.
Let's do financial reports.
Always.
Okay, just
We got anything else in
business
camera?
from, yeah,
Do we? Okay.
I do.
Okay.
business from previous council agenda.
I didn't bring anything forward at this point in time that you'll see in my CAO report, I'm still investigating stuff.
Yeah.
So,
And I know it's not easy, Melissa, because of the fact that there's been a lot of stuff going on. Then a lot of it. Sometimes council weren't all completely aware.
so I'm trying to bring things into a perspective so that we can continue moving forward, so. So if you're okay, there are no other previous things at this point in time, and we'll go into all the other stuff.
Okay. So financials, I guess before we get on that, so we're able to write checks again?
I'm signing authority.
Well, you have to sign.
You don't sign the check before you go.
Okay. And then also for the rent for the building here.
It's in that check
That's
file.
in the check
Is
file,
is
it's
it
right.
gonna be a direct deposit or is it? gonna
Just
be
a check and then it's what you just let back and that's Murray's always in the yard
He's in the
too.
yard every day.
Okay,
He pops
okay,
in and says that.
I just wanna make sure that that's what that.
Yeah.
Okay, expense and revenue. Would you wanna run us through them, Melissa, please?
Okay. So your first sheet is for the period ending August 31st. So it's just a generic telling you kind of where our. Within the budget where we're sitting, so to me, we're okay. We're still in a surplus. Some things are moving ahead, and that'll be all covered in the report, my CAO report. But I don't see any issues with it. Does anybody have any questions on any of it?
There's still some taxes to collect, is there, stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not doing too bad though.
Okay.
I think that's actually,
Less than 10.
yeah, less than 10, because we've received a couple of payments since we printed that,
Okay,
So
so
what was pushed on the culture?
Oh,
Bring
yes.
it up to the.
the culture. Culture could have to do with park or with the hall, I'm assuming, right?
It is together.
So we have to further. Clarify that, you want me to bring back a breakdown of culture for the next meeting? So you have a
No.
better understanding of it, usually it's parks and rec kind of stuff is culture.
Yeah, we should see, because some of that could also be
You scattered through whatever.
wages as well, some of that.
Yes. Yes,
So it could be some of that, but she can bring it back, so we. Yeah, because it's done, you're right, it's 10.
I will bring back a specific one for culture.
Yeah. Okay,
So you can see the breakdown of it.
okay, so capital expense. Statement.
And all the grants, I got my last grant report, we're up to date now, our projects are approved. So we're doing pretty good
So
there, funding's there.
So what about the grant for the office?
It's,
Okay, so that just happened this week,
yes,
okay,
yes,
and then also were you able to ship the the tennis court was on there from last.
yeah, that's
That's
fine, we'll just report it now. Cause it was a continued project,
So with the one for the building, then there would be another separate piece for the foundation and sewer, and
yes,
so that one was already 100, what was that, 150?
that was already there, so we just did a different one to do the building.
Yeah, because we don't want to go over 250.
That's right, so we don't have to go out for the northwest trade agreements. We can stay within Alberta.
Okay, so.
And then the boat launch, I provided that info in my CAO report.
Yeah.
So tennis court is in my CAO report, yeah, all this stuff is pretty long in the CAO report.
Okay.
And then your check listing for council, that's all of our checks up to the end of August.
I'm sorry, Melissa, did that road widening get approved? The grant,
That one already was in the MSI from when I was here,
okay,
so that should have just been a carry forward,
okay,
because I remember putting that project in.
okay. And then I guess the other one that was, you were talking about was the path, 40-4 to Oak Ridge.
Is that a new project?
Oh, yeah, that's a walkway. Doing a walkway down the gravel, mini gravel road.
Oh,
Yeah, was that approved? Dean said he put that one in for $80,000.
yeah, it should be in there, because normally you just put in sidewalk or walkways and you just do it.
Do we
And
know exactly what we are approved for?
well, if you put in for 80,000, then you put it in, but if you spend more, you can claim it. You just have
Yeah, I
less.
don't know whether it's put in to MSI,
I'll have to double check on that one, but I know I had one in there
because we
for
know,
walkways,
yeah, no, this was a separate motion
okay?
that we made. How long ago? Couple months, yeah,
Okay, I will review that one and bring back the information in the CAO report for next meeting. Sound good?
yeah, it's just that some of the stuff. Well, in particular, the office and foundation,
Yes.
like, we gotta get moving.
That's already been put in. I had Lori doing that the first day that I came on.
Okay.
We already submitted that. That's it.
And then there was also. The NSI wasn't really approved, or maybe would be approved for the dumpster area, but that.
That one I'd have to
We
double
just
check.
don't have any, I was pulled the rail side again and there was no one there.
Can I ask for clarity on that? What did you need rail beside for?
Well, to make the application for the NSI. There was a number put there, but we were informed, like Dean was suggesting that we get a plan.
Okay,
So like in month I sent, to me, I took pictures of the Stettler transfer station one, drive up behind,
that's a lot of work.
yeah. And he was out there doing the elevation,
Okay,
grant,
okay, I'll have to, that's also my CAO report that I want to figure out rail side, so I will take a drive over and try and find him. If not, I think I would prefer to contact our municipal engineers. And get them to come out and review some sites for me and provide me a plan.
yeah, it's gotta get started.
Yeah, that's the first thing. Yes.
Okay, sure. Okay, so check listings, did you guys look through there?
Yeah, I thought, I mean, okay, I didn't see anything that I watched the question.
Okay, and then your tax trial ballots, and a couple of them have come off since the payments have been received. I have seen worse than 10,
15 was like, I don't,
well, 50,
I think we have 12 now.
yeah, 12 are outstanding. That's pretty good for a small municipality.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
I think last year was a lot more.
Okay,
We should motions on for your contractual bills this. Is that okay?
and
Yes, to bring back a breakdown.
Sorry.
just.
Yeah.
Then, I see that Martin Shepherd's tax went
Yeah,
back finally. And, then also. The, Ed and Debbie was,
oh, I got that, Debbie and I talked already. This week,
okay, so that's,
yes, we figured out what happened.
okay.
Yeah,
So when a piece of property changes. The responsibility, if you get a change from land titles, that tells you that there's a change. But does the actual person have to put in tips?
They need
Is
to
it
do it
their
or
responsibility?
Which person is responsible?
it is
The
seller
property owner who's selling the property is responsible to cancel theirs. And advise their lawyers. If you don't have a lawyer, then you cancel yours, advise whoever you're selling to, so if it's a private or with a lawyer. It is still the property owner who is selling to send us, there is a form, isn't
There's a
there?
form right online.
There's a form online saying that you need your tips canceled and the date of the sale.
So that is forgotten. And then the people that get the property don't pay their taxes, then the previous owner is responsible. Because that's what happened to Marty.
Okay, now explain,
So Marty didn't send it, like Marty said, yes, he's selling his place. But I never got any legal stuff to say that it was sold. To go to the next one, so yeah, the tips went out for another month, because he didn't cancel it.
and that's the property owner's responsibility to
Should we put
cancel.
out
On your,
a memo of?
well, we have in the past, I think the last newsletter, I stuck that in,
So we can stick it back in,
yeah.
the newsletter
Might not be a
again.
bad idea if people forget,
Oh, yeah,
because properties are exchanging hands out there like crazy.
And lately, the ones who have been on tips, like I got recently, like I've had a lawyer say to cancel the tips and I accepted that, that's fine. Then I had other people that got the sheet or I expected them to get the sheet. Because they'd asked me, so I said, well, go here, print it out, sign it, all that stuff, all of the information, send it back to me, and then. When I go do my tips and I remove them, when I go do my tip setup,
because we need the documentation.
to say that it's.
It just doesn't make sense that it's such a confusing thing.
It's actually not confusing, but
But if someone
Stated
takes over the
transfer.
property, their lawyers don't pay the ongoing portion of their taxes, then the original owner gets charged, and that's what happened to Marty. And
What happened?
that's not right.
Yeah, what happened?
So I don't know if there's any way of streamlining that so that.
yeah, unfortunately, and I'll tell you right off the bat. Even when I bought my property, because the first question I asked. Who's paying the taxes? We got paid the portion. In our sale from the other owners, they transferred their portion to us. But it was our responsibility, and unfortunately, that'll happen in a lot of things where a lot of these people don't realize in the sale or when they buy the property. They're getting their portion is knocked off of the sale of the property
Right.
by the other person, but they are now responsible for all those costs. And
Yeah.
if you don't use a lawyer, then sometimes this gets missed.
Well, I just think that just letter going out to the public, this is what you need to do, just be aware, if you sell property, then.
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
will
we'll
put it
have
in
to
the
just
newsletter.
start advertising.
We'll put it in the newsletter and we'll attach it on the website. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I mean, that's all we can do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's somebody's fault, but really it's nobody's, it's people, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's stated right on when you sign your tips form, that it's the owner's responsibility, like, it's your responsibility to notify,
Yeah.
the office of any changes or,
And unfortunately, some people don't realize.
Huh? yeah, I wish I could say I could fix everything. I just can't.
no. Okay, so taxes in arrear, you said that's okay.
Yeah, we've got it down to probably this 15-12
Okay,
already.
so
we have two motions.
Yes,
we need a motion for the,
The first one is to have administration bring back the breakdown of culture expenses to the next regular council meeting and report back what has been accepted by MSI grants.
yes.
okay, all in favor,
Who wants to put their name on it?
But
Okay,
all in favor?
Yes,
and the next one is to accept the financial reports as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Favor? Okay, so now we're down to council reports, Ed?
I've got.
Nothing?
No.
One, I've got a couple of things. One, I was at the ambulance meeting the other day and everything seems to be going well, and there should be 2 new ambulances coming in the fall. And so, that's gonna be nice to do that. The second thing that I have, I was at the waste management, meeting and, they graciously, in March, they made a decision to change how seasonal populations was determined in a summer village, and they graciously agreed to reverse that decision, and so it basically should be saving us $8,000 this year, so.
Yes, and we got our first
And they were just very, very wonderful to work with, and we're happy to, listen to our presentation. It was great to work with these people.
Yeah, well done, Paul, and. What was the timeline that was changed?
Basically what they do is they have a sort of a formula where they take the number of residences and they minus the full-time residences, and then that is the summer village population, and then it gets divided by 2, and they took away the division by 2 in March, and so now they've gone back, so it was effectively doubling what they determined our seasonal population to be. And so they've gone back to dividing this formula by 2 and seasonal population. So it's kind of a somewhat complicated formula, but I went through it all and sorted it all out.
And it makes a huge difference, $8,000 is huge.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I say, they were just great to work with, the committee.
Good.
All right, Lauren, what's your list?
So, I know that we put out a letter about the works, particularly down on Horseshoe Lane. So I don't know whether there was individual letters sent out or just in this letter is good enough.
I'm unaware of this, so this is
Yeah,
news for me.
before, it was when there was a extremely dangerous drive. And it's going on quite a bit.
Yep. Do you want us to re-add it to the newsletter again about fireworks?
I think so.
Okay,
Well, it's kind of interesting, but it's still the person that puts off the fireworks in the village has to be accredited nationally to do so.
correct.
So, and people don't understand that, or else they ignore.
Yeah.
So I guess you'll have to do some more education, but by God, I'll tell you. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Nope,
Even lanterns, those floating lanterns.
So those are
Those are illegal now, aren't they?
Anyway,
environmentally, it's not sound.
very dangerous.
okay, so this next one, I haven't really figured it out yet. Actually, I think I'll. I'm going camera. Sort of. So the new office, so the information from Nelson Homes, and then we have all last year's. Price. And then design, so it's more or less the same pricing compared to. The information we have,
Okay,
So we're gonna have to get moving on this design.
yes,
So we have, I think the starting committee could be like yourself, obviously, because you know offices and what you.
Yeah.
And size wise, and I think probably some public, Andrew Spadula said he would help out. And
okay,
he's had extensive experience in that. And then also council. I don't know whether we should have full council or whatever, but we can certainly do it over email. The design. So that they can get the paperwork in order, so we can do the deposit.
so do I have Nelson's contact?
I got all that.
Perfect, because let me take that and get in contact with them and get some things rolling here to bring back to you guys so that I can. Like, I haven't seen anything yet, so for me, I'm
No,
feeling very
plus
blind.
it's impossible because of the fact that it's very vague. Because we didn't know whether MSI is gonna do.
Oh.
But
I
he
knew they
said, that this guy's name, Matt. And he said to use that money. By the end of the year, they take 15%, but he said. You could pay as much as you need to, so we could dump that
Yes.
250,000, 249,000 on that as a deposit.
Yeah, but as long as we start doing something,
it starts to
is
start.
what MSI wants to see. Not us sitting there saying,
Yeah,
we're not completed, not completed, at least if we can turn around and say, continued. This much has been put for this year, we've used up, but we still have an allocation to finish.
so that's here, I'll give it to you.
Okay, perfect. That's what I need, because I need to start contacting him, and getting some drafted stuff done, so they can send it to you.
Okay, and then on I don't want to really go back to RV thing again. I know there's a lot on 22 Ernest Way
22 Primrose Way.
has been sold.
Okay.
Probably
Okay.
don't have it from land titles yet, but they had 2 RVs on there now.
Okay,
I don't know whether the new owner should be notified of that fact, because sometimes you don't know whether. People that are selling it.
Yeah,
yeah, you know what, can we look into this? Have
Yeah,
some time to look?
I will let Angela know that 22 Primrose Way has been sold.
well, that's what it says on the sign. So it happened.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, so I'll let her know, cause I was kind of letting her know it's like. Tax certificates and stuff are coming through, and then right now, no, there's sold or not. We're kind of letting Angela know.
Okay. So the convention, October 19th and 20th, so it's a Thursday and Friday. So anybody that's going up there would have to go Wednesday night instead of Wednesday night, Thursday night.
so who all wants to go, and do you want me to go?
Well, we definitely want you to go.
Okay, so motion to send the CAO is one thing we're gonna have.
I leave for holidays.
Bob can't go.
I leave for
Okay.
holidays that day.
Yeah, I'm busy. Okay, so I'll go
Okay,
and Kathy.
okay. So you want us to book
So
a
this-
hotel on the municipal credit card, or do you want to
I'll
do
do
it and then
the
go back?
hotel. We have to get one bar. So.
Okay, as long as you don't bar yourself in.
Is it the ASBA?
Yes.
Okay,
To approve the CAO and mayor to attend.
Yeah, and I think there's an extra small part for someone that had a big banquet on Thursday night. You'd have to pay extra.
Yes, so do you want to attend the banquet? Just say yes.
That's included, but if Kathy comes.
Kathy.
Okay, so one spouse. Got it.
Thanksgiving.
Motion to approve mayor CAO to attend ASBA conference and to purchase one spouse ticket for banquet.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Yes.
And pick the date.
October 19th. And 20th, so you'd have to check into the hotel on Wednesday night, because it starts at 8 in the morning.
Yes, I figured that.
And then it's an all-day thing, banquets that night, and next morning it's from 8 to.
Yeah, then they give you a bagged lunch to go on the road, right? That's what I'm used to when I go to a conference, they give you a bagged lunch and you go.
Who is moving this one?
Bob.
Yes.
All in favor? Yeah.
But at least this way it's documented and then any charges fall through.
Okay, and this has been ongoing, Melissa, and you can put it on the back burner,
Okay,
but when we first built the truck fill station, we had the road lines there,
yes.
and we made a.
We did the proper readings of the bylaw and
Yeah.
where to go after
First
that.
of all, we made a resolution, and then the government came back 3 years later and said, you can't do the resolution, you gotta have a bylaw. So we passed the bylaw.
Did a public hearing, I remember that.
Yeah, here's the notice,
Hey.
and here's the motion. It's in 2020,
Hey,
and nothing's happened.
okay, I need to go through this.
But I think. I mean, it doesn't really matter, I don't. The
It needs to
building,
be done,
the building's right in the middle of the road,
yeah, it needs to be a road closure.
so it's just something on the back burner. Because
Truck fill station is in the middle of the road.
Yeah, technically, yeah, that's where it is. So we gotta do a road closure.
right there,
So why shouldn't it be? You gotta drive up there with your tank.
it's right, not the building.
Drive through.
God, just an access road is different than a really full road.
Okay, next.
It's kind of funny.
Okay,
Okay.
I wanted to just ask about whether we should keep the dump trailer outside. Or in the shed, in the shop, because people are filling it.
Thank you for bringing it up, because I was gonna. Sorry.
Branches the other day.
Like, we're not gonna be able to maybe keep up with that, because the word will get around pretty fast. So why doesn't Aaron put the trailer in cold storage?
Okay, so just for clarity. The dump trailer needs to be put away so that we don't have the issue, because we're not gonna pick up and haul away everybody else's branches that should be hauled away on their own. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Okay. That answers that question for me, I'll tell them.
okay,
And add to the newsletter. Got another thing for the newsletter.
If you bring the list to the newsletter, cause I haven't losing it.
Newsletter, tree limbs, all that, go to landfill.
Yard cleanup.
Yard cleanup must be hauled. Okay,
then there was a question on. Because we don't test the water in the cistern below the ground for the drinking water for the hall and the shop.
correct.
Then, and it says don't drink the water in the hall, should we have some kind of a water cooler in there? With a tank on top of it?
Roshan doesn't do that.
No,
No. But I guess
I guess
theirs
that-
gets tested, like. If it's, aren't you getting potable water sent to it?
yeah.
So could you just have the hauler rep do a monthly sample? You just have to get bottles for the health unit, bring them in on, I think it's Wednesdays before 3 o'clock. Put them in, and then you have a record,
Or do it,
or,
just prior to them having
Well-
it.
You get a bacteria count, but you're not gonna get a chemical count for 6 months. The thing is, I'm worried about people, that system's underground, and I'm just worried about people.
I think getting cooler in there is pretty simple solution.
I mean, it's a couple $100, or else just put bottle.
$307.
Well,
Yeah.
get a top loading one, not one down.
Okay,
Oh, we decided not the top because as women,
Yeah, I know.
we
but
don't like
you can-
lifting.
You can get the half bottles, but. I've had 2 of these, and they're shot in a couple of minutes, like a few months.
oh, the other one at the other office has been
Okay,
going good.
I'll get her if you want, but can we do it, or are you wanting just us to put there and to put bottled water in there, small bottles?
And just do
For
the pump,
drinking,
be cheaper.
there's a pump in there.
Oh, love that.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and pull back a bit. So you want us to, council wants to pay to install something like this, or you wanna pay to stock up bottled water for event use, or is this just
Well,
something that we want to have during whatever event they might bring their own?
Well, Jerry asked me because she doesn't know what the procedure was, and I certainly don't. know either.
Well, I guess I'm gonna just say,
Who's
what,
gonna
who do you want to
Or
pay it
if
from?
guys, if someone's playing poker or cards or whatever and wants to drink a water, or the exercise girls.
So
should
should
that
they
be
not-
on them?
Shouldn't it be on them to
And the
bring their own?
cost?
Like, unless you want this to be taxpayer paid and funded for every event, I'm asking that. Did taxpayers pay or?
Well, how often you refresh it and, you know, I would suggest that, let them bring their own.
All right, I'm just asking, because I was asked.
Yeah,
And then it's out of our end.
like,
We could put it back,
For liability.
if the Hall Society thinks it's important, maybe they can budget for it, you know.
And then they can bring
Yeah.
the bottle water. Small.
because I'm just thinking, this could become a huge cost on taxpayers if you're doing every event.
And a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Well, it'd be a bigger cost if someone got sick, that's all I'm saying. It's
not-
two sides.
true, but the signs are there. And it does say, do not drink the water. If they do, it is really at their own risk. It would be like us here, we are on a well. We just decided we would do this, but we're here every day.
Okay, so next. The dumpster, so that's been discussed.
It's in my report too.
Okay, and then the other thing that has been. Kicked around is in the meantime, we could put dumpsters with lids on them, the plastic ones, like it's. What's it, Buffalo Sand and our. He has them out here too. For until we want to build, because we gotta get them out.
We do have to move them.
And
There are some concerns I have with if you get the lidded stuff. And then people not continually moving down the line, we all know they fill up one. And then it gets overfilled, and they won't move down to the next one. So I think there's a lot that I'm trying to think about and take into consideration when we're moving and what we need. And how much cost.
Yeah, so as far as what we do over at the transfer station here, they just put a sign in front of it, next.
Right.
And maintenance can do that.
Right, but when you start doing ramp systems, then,
This would just be temporary, just on flat ground somewhere until the other thing is built. With the proper system.
yeah, so I
You
guess
gotta get them out of there if we're gonna build, right?
I agree, we have to get them out of there. I'm just trying to think cost after cost after cost.
Well, it's gonna happen sooner or later.
So maybe if we can figure this out quickly to a better spot or a permanent spot so that we only pay once and have one cost. And then we're done, and then we can start looking at, do we wanna add a recycle thing to it? Do we wanna do this? And make things proper and neat.
you're gonna wind up moving them twice. Realistically. Before.
Probably, but I'm hoping there might be a solution,
We,
but
I think that, well, not to learn about it, but we should just move them in, move them without open, and it's great south of the maintenance shop.
and that's what I wanna take a look at, and I'd like to have a visit with the engineers to help me say. Could this fit, could that fit? And then bring this to you guys and tell you what
Well,
is the best
I
option.
guess, yeah, but the thing is, you don't have to bring it back to council, you can do it, maybe some emails or whatever, we gotta get that
Yes,
stuff out of there, because we're running into timeline.
yeah, I agree, and I wanna look at what's gonna be the best option for spring, fall, winter, because if it's on thaws, is it gonna get all rutted? What are we looking at? Because I don't think residents wanna see a disaster area where their dumpsters are. And then we have to move all of the fencing and all that stuff, so to me, the costs. Either way, if we're doing this multiple times, doesn't quite make sense if we could come up with a solution quickly. For a spot that actually works and could stay there for a longer period of time.
It's possible to find something, and it doesn't have to be fenced either,
Okay,
you know, the fence is gonna be. Recycled.
okay,
With the plans that.
but I would like to, that's why it's in my report, that's my next thing on my review for the next council meeting.
And the one thing, I think if we do move the dumpsters, we wanna have. Some kind of a bin for the cans, and then we can get Aaron to take the cans back over to the garage there too. So that the bottle recycling people don't have to do that, like make life easy for the volunteers, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how, yeah, like there's certain. Like, I think with the bottles, maybe that we just need more education, and so take the bottles over here. But people are getting to the point where they just wanna throw it all into one bag and say heck with it.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate, but maybe some more education to explain. Any of this, they don't understand that any of this money collected goes back into the community to put on events.
Yeah, and that's what it lacks in, people that have been here for a while know it. So maybe that's another newsletter.
Yeah. Because that bottle money, if that's covering events and they wanna see more events happening and more stuff happening, then. Bring the bottles over to the bottle deals.
Yeah, just move the bottle recycler eventually right over to where the new bins are.
So that could be an option.
And the give and take.
So we'll put them all in the same area and then it cleans up
Absolutely.
the whole.
I can see in the future that place gets heated and it's looked after by, like, especially in summertime.
Yeah, now the branch is confused.
Okay,
Okay, can we get maintenance to mow the grass before? The
Yeah.
snow flies?
yeah. More grass. We have some areas that look extremely bad.
Well,
Yeah, but you want grass long for winter.
You go, have to take the gravel out of it in the spring, and that's the main thing is what you look at, when the snow gets plowed into the ditches, it's full of gravel. If the grass is longer in the spring, that sweeper won't take it out.
see, if it's not maintained regularly, weeds come up and take over your grass. I mean, we got the worst looking grass out there right now because it hasn't been regularly maintained.
Well, yes, I agree with you to a point, but also it's been a dry year. So that also plays a factor with your weed growth and stuff, because they're rooted farther and deeper than half the grass that's around.
We still got control.
Yeah,
Yes,
but I,
so you,
And not only that, if you need that grass to grow. Let it, mature and you don't cut it down in the fall, the voles, not the mold, the voles.
yes,
Of the hay and that stuff in the winter time.
yeah.
And there's just tracks and, well, you guys see it.
Sometimes we can't get away from bowls depending on the snow fly. If you've got.
So I mean, it just has to be something very protected that you got this.
So basically you want
Every,
all the boulevards and things like that.
Yeah, if there's
Do
some
that.
place that doesn't really need.
Okay, mow grass,
I
final
think it's important,
winter. Okay,
especially with the drought. So.
Yep.
That's about it till count.
okay. So,
And we got your CAO. Did you wanna
Yes.
go over it? Or,
anybody have questions? I covered a lot.
yeah,
That's good.
I'll just do a quick summary, the move, we got that done. The municipal office, we've got everything in here now, it's still, everything's up and running, so we're good, we got a new phone number. Tomco came in out of the blue, short notice, but they're here. And they're doing the tennis courts, and I have asked them, since they brought the basketball stuff, that if they're here and they have time, if they're able, let's just do it. I don't wanna spend any extra money calling somebody else in if they can do it. So I'm just waiting to hear back from Aaron on that, so hopefully I will be able to get it all done, and we'll just send the bill in one shot to the other side.
okay, there's 2 posts that will have to be ground off. Concrete, because these ones are gooseneck. They go.
Yeah, we kind of figured that, and we thought we'd let them tell us if they could do it or not, because I would
Yeah,
prefer.
if they can do it, they can grind it. Crap off.
Yes, yep, so I'm hoping we'll just get it done. And this, so we don't have to worry about it next year. Contacted CPP, environmental consultant, I've worked with them, we've got everything in now. And then yes, Monday or Friday, we got another email back from Alberta Environment looking for further information on when we remove stuff, disturbing stuff. So I now have Director of Operations, Joe McCulloch, has offered to help us because they have all the stuff to do the work. So he's stepped in and he's provided the details so that we can get moving on the repairs at the boat launch. Want to get that done. Met with Public Works, we've gone through the outhouse schedules and we've got the tree trimming scheduled. That cost is about 8,000 to just fix all the MR trees. I said if it's dead, it's gone. Otherwise, if it's still alive, we don't remove. We don't want removal of live trees, only the dead fallen, the dead trees.
and who's doing that?
That is
Google.
And do.
doable. So
The
that's,
other guy took off.
Walkers is in my,
yeah, Walker's doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, that's scheduled, so we're hoping to get that done before it gets too cold. The newsletter is going out. I said at the end of this month, but she says no tomorrow. I'm fine with that. We had our council meeting, met with the mayor, went through the outstanding development. So we've had some site works development applications received for property on Third Street. We're waiting another application for a property located on Pheasant Terrace, which may require holding an MPC meeting in the future for the application. Development permit application 719 approved for demolition single family dwelling unit on First Street. Discussions with Angela and Leanne on tightening up conditions on the permits to make sure property owners understand they are responsible for any negative effects by their contractors on neighboring properties and or public property as part of conditions on the permits. Because I think it's key.
Demolition on First or Fourth.
First is what I got. Single family dwelling unit.
There's one on Fourth that was tearing down.
Yeah, there's one coming up on Green,
Oh, yeah.
West.
Okay, I just put the street so you guys are aware. I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah, and then it's got additional items on the list to complete, and I got a whole row of stuff right down to the bylaw non-compliance issue I'm dealing with. Blue sign address signage, I've gotta work on that. Review the site locations for the garbage dumpsters, like I said, I gotta review that. Gathering information for the RTM. need to get up to date on the South Shore traffic study, still need to review any letters that need to be sent out from previous minutes, current minutes as motion by council. And create an action list, work in progress for council to review as we move along. Yes.
Question back to the wood removal. Is this tree removal company gonna buck up the wood? Or are they gonna shred it? Or they do?
We're gonna bucket. And depending on where the location is, it'll be available. We'll let people know there's bucked wood down located on this, and this.
Well, earlier, I think we have a policy that any wood out of that village goes to Jack's Pond.
If we can get it there.
Yeah, if we can get it, there's some locations that we're going to
Yeah.
may not allow.
On the street. It's. Straight down and I don't know whether the tractor would. Get down there, It probably would with the way the lake is now. But we've never gone down there with equipment
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
down
So-
below, like,
So.
But most of it,
How are they
yes.
gonna be down there? Mulch it.
they're just gonna buck it out.
Buck it up.
Most of the people are gonna clean up the branches.
yeah,
Like we can get as far as point there. But once you go around.
Yeah. Just let somebody else do it.
and then
It's that thing, it'll get good.
Yeah.
I've been pretty good with if somebody really wants to do. Something that it does affect their property and it is on MR. If they send me the proper documentation, pictures, so I can verify that it's actually correctly a dead tree. Then sometimes I will authorize and say, yes, okay,
Yeah.
I will let you do
I've
that.
got one for you then.
Yes. Because they're paying for somebody to come in who's gonna be doing it. So I'm not gonna fight with anybody when, if they wanna do it as part of their cost and it is a dead tree, why not?
Was the complaint from Mrs. Cheatham that result?
Yeah, it is, going to be. Aaron went down there and removed that one that was problem, and then there's a bunch more that are flagged. And they're gonna go down and keep.
So I've had other people asking me, who do they contact if there's trees that they want taken out? It's just off their property, but it's in the frontage. So that they got more room for parking and it's and they're almost dead.
Well, it would
Haven't
depend
talked to
on
you?
what, if it's a dead tree and it's on our, like, it might already be on our list.
Yeah,
Because we have a map that everything's been marked and if it's got a mark on it, then it's being dealt with. If it doesn't have a mark on it, then I
Can you
need
email that to us?
the map.
Yeah.
You guys want a copy of the map
I
of
would
all the
like to see it.
trees? Because we've got the tree guy. We marked them, he's gonna assess and make sure they're dead trees.
I would like to have one.
I'll forward you a copy of what we've marked.
Okay.
But again, with the tree guy, I'm taking his recommendations.
Yeah.
Over the whole map, but the
Sure.
map is there.
That, on the map, there was Alexander's, there was a question mark on it.
Yeah, I told him just have the tree guy assess it.
Yeah, it was just a question mark, so I had to contact. Well, actually, it's Bob's neighbor, Sarah, she said,
Yes.
yeah, but it was a question mark because they got missed and
Okay, I'll double check that.
I wrote on. Red pen on that map. There was a question mark, but it's.
They were marked with tape, orange tape,
Perfect.
and one of them is. The tree is leaning on the other tree, a dead tree is leaning on a dead tree, so.
Yeah.
It's kind of not, we want to pro do that one, because it's not really weekend warrior stuff.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's dangerous, so we want a professional to do that one.
And that's why I prefer you just hire it. They understand trees, that's what they're hired for. And they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that budget wise. For the amount of. Trees that are on there. Like it's gonna be huge.
yeah. I thought about that because I have noticed you guys did some other tree mulching, because I wasn't quite sure, but it's done. It was done this summer and it's
Yeah.
for your trail.
Wasn't very much.
Actually,
It was along the boat launch road.
Well, and there's a bunch of other stuff, lots too, that were in the. Village, I don't know.
Cause
but we got a bill for that.
Dean said to do it. Yeah, I know, we got a bill for 2 days.
2 days at like $80,000 some dollars.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it was, I guess for me, being aware, the power guys, there's a power line, they're gonna come in and they're gonna mulch. So we need to, as I talked with Aaron, you have to understand that where it's actually the power itself, we clean up our basic stuff. But let the power guys
Do that.
do theirs.
It's right.
I think there's like cleaning up.
So,
Every power guys, basically.
Right, we did a bunch of mulch.
And that's usually how I try to approach things is.
Just some,
I just give on permission to do something like that.
Yeah, and that's, because we give them authorization to go into the village and do
Yeah.
whatever, and then they contact property owners for separate.
so any of the fire, nothing under fire trail are on first.
That's us.
Move, put.
Has that-
Back, yeah.
Was that on this list to get that all here seated roads?
I have to double check on that,
Cause it should be.
because what was he told to do?
He was told to harrow it and drag it down with our tractors and reseed it, cause you bought a whole whack of seed.
he said, I talked to him the other day about seeding and he said he's done
Okay,
3 bags of it, but he didn't.
I think he hasn't done anything on fire lanes in the,
I'll check on it, and then I will,
I think the only thing he seeded is what he drug down with his quad and his set of arrows on the, the smaller stuff.
There still needs to be some roots taken out
Yeah,
too.
okay, I'll go out and review with him and take a look at all this stuff and then,
what about the swimming buoys?
what about the swimming
Are they
boys?
still out there?
They're not,
There's a cut, he got them out of there
Yeah.
last week,
that's what I thought I heard him say.
but
Maybe, but there's anchors in the dirt you can't get out, so you put holding things on, so you knows where they are.
I used to think them, think that's shit's gotta come.
Okay, I'll review that.
I'm not kidding you.
I need to go to the washroom. Can we take it straight?
Yeah,
break?
go ahead.
You couldn't get them out.
Then you gotta get the tractor down there and swing and get them out.
It's not.
They're the ones for the swimming, they've gotta come out of there, that's scary.
The shower.
Cause if you mark them with the buoy, it's the size of it.
Yeah.
That's gone. You never find that anchor.
But, yeah, I'm allowed you ain't gonna go.
I on to him, pull him up.
Yeah.
Now, has his hired help been around, showed up?
I don't know anything about that. I don't know whether he signed up or not.
No.
That's a good question.
I was talking to him, he said he was pulling them out, because I said, well, you missed some boys out there, and he said, well, I can't get them out. He's trying to pull them out, he dug some and he pulled out and he got stuck. Just trying to pull him.
Well,
I know that quite too, but, drain, I don't know, if they will those. It's for him.
Good to move. Sorry, guys.
I have a drain for him that he can use, but he. I'm what he can put it on.
So fire lane seating, and then he has a pre-move the anchors for the buoys, right?
Just a few,
So,
I don't know, there's 2 in front of mine.
and then there was talk that, he's hired a grader to maintain the roads.
we always usually graded the roads in the fall prior to winter.
No, you always grade them in the spring. There's no sense in grading them. Well, we've got a drag out there that he could be constantly dragging around with our tractor.
Okay,
And that's why we purchased 2 big piles of gravel, so that he could be filling in the small holes and whatnot. And consistently dragging that drag around, you'd have the best roads imaginable out there. And he hasn't even tied on to it yet. So I would reconsider hiring that grader, because that's a $3,000 bill, when we don't need it in the fall. It's always been needed when we wanna do dust control in the spring.
yes, well, that's standard.
Yeah.
Before you put on dust control, you must grade the road.
Absolutely, yeah.
That I do know.
And I think we're budgeted for next spring to do that.
Yeah, I think some years we did that, though,
Yeah, well, it doesn't make any sense, because your first snowfall and you start wiping that snow off, your roads are done.
Yeah, no, what I'm thinking is if there's any rough spots prior to snow, usually you would make sure you had a good base going.
Yeah. Well, if you-
And then-
when there's not a whole bunch of them, and he's gonna fill them in with our tractor in that route. And I'll say that's $3,000.
So I'll get everything today and have a discussion with them and find out everything. Sound good?
well, when you're coming on to the ditches and the stuff was mulched out of there. You can obviously. It's too.
Yes.
But there is a few places that
Is
have
there?
to be. There's roots this high or pieces of tree and they're really sharp. It's not that safe, in some areas.
So who has a bush mulcher? There's a certain piece of equipment that the guys, when the power guys, they were just.
Well, that's what they did with this one for Maytag, they had a good machine, but he couldn't, when he went in. Let's say this is the road, when he
Yeah.
went to the side of the road, he couldn't. Get it in some areas.
Oh, okay,
He's got one parked in behind the shop there that he's been able to use. Belongs to me. And I said, just go ahead and use it, whatever. It hooks onto our tractor. The previous maintenance fellow was using it before, and it works good,
okay, and that's the bush mower, right?
yes. It's just that he needs a little help.
Okay, so I'll ask him if he needs anything, I can ask my husband to come up and show him how it all works with the tractor, it's pretty easy. I'm not as good at it.
I would also like to suggest that blade that we have on the back of that tractor, mentioned it many times. Meaning 18-inch extensions on both sides of that blade made up so that we can do our snow plowing properly.
Okay, so the blade is how right now,
It's
because,
not wide enough. Because it's not getting the shoulder out and the snow out into the ditch. What happens is it all piles up on the shoulder, and then when it freezes, never gets moved again until the spring. And when the snow melt starts happening in the spring, the water doesn't run off the edge of the road over the shoulder like it's supposed to, it'll run down to the lowest point, and it eventually just soaks into the shoulder, screws up your road.
so, because normally, you're talking about extensions and stuff, there's a certain blade that usually tractors, you can get them through Brent and stuff. And it's got a double hydraulic system, so that it does the winging. And it can fold up, but that's a huge cost, so I guess for me, I'm going
We
to,
actually have one of those right now. That's $12,000, we never use it. And it fits on the front of the tractor. We never ever use it. This thing here is, it's very cheap, it's a maintenance. Thing that we use all the time. Al, our previous maintenance fella. Was very, very good at it. He made some nice roads, but he didn't take the time to get it pushed out far enough. To where that windrow always stayed. Next to the road, and it should be out, yeah, our road just gets squeezed in all the time. And
Okay.
it should be out another 18 inches just to get it out into the ditch. To where,
Yeah, we used to hire the maintenance, sometimes.
Yeah.
The roads would come in and do it because it was too.
but I mean, we don't need to, we've got the ways and the means of doing that all ourselves.
so I guess for me, some of it, I can sit down and have a talk with him, which I'm gonna be having a meeting with him, full meeting on. October, middle of October. To review a bunch of stuff, but. What I'm trying to figure out is, right now, we have no idea what this season's gonna be like.
As far as winter,
Snow, yeah, could we end up with huge dumps of snow?
well, I mean, if do, then we.
Then we have to
We
contact,
go for it accordingly.
yeah,
But if it's just a normal winter like what we've been having, then if we just add on to that blade on both sides, you got a need.
You might even have to just do one side, but I don't know.
Well,
so how does the truck blade work?
it works in a pinch, like if it's quick, you can get the whole village done real quick with it, but it still doesn't resolve. Our problem, if it doesn't get it out, it's always piles up when we need it.
That's John. I'll call you back. Yeah. It worked.
But the other part of that is too, that the front. Front blade. On the tractor isn't used. So, but
So there's a front blade, so,
Yeah, and I don't know
Okay.
why we even have it, because it's,
Tough one now.
yeah,
And to spread the gravel, that bucket and that system to spread the gravel works. And we didn't get near enough gravel put on the roads last year.
well, we had some issues,
Yeah, we
and the
had
thing is,
okay,
it was the wrong gravel was ordered.
through that.
okay. So,
There's a pile of gravel there now
yes,
that is specifically made for spreading on ice.
yeah, I remember.
It's the small stuff, the pea gravel, it's called.
Yeah, I remember, and you usually loaded up the bucket and then you went around and you kind of had this shape.
But I mean, the stuff that was previously used was 1.5 inches. And that's rocks, it's big, well, you can't. You don't need to put that kind of stuff up there. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so I'll be checking, make sure he's got the right amount of gravel, the pea gravel.
That's for
doing
winter
sand
use. That's for
for
winter
winter
use.
use.
For fall use, it's 3/4 inch crust right beside it, and he can be filling in all the
And
potholes
that's. to fill
with
in
our
the bottle.
bucket, and then use the drag to drag the roads down, and you're gonna have highways out there.
Okay,
Okay, got it.
um,
And then I'll investigate the graders. Blades and all that stuff that we have and see what we can. Maybe it's a changing of something, maybe we have to look at that in our budget.
so there was an email yesterday. Like under correspondence, I'll just stand. Dish. What trees, did you see that? Yesterday.
I didn't get anything.
Sorry, Stan, I forgot to open that up. When did you send it out?
I've got it all here.
Yeah,
I don't see anything to stand on yesterday.
Yeah, I
you're
don't.
getting some good deals later in fall.
What you got?
Stuff on some of that, aren't you?
Okay, yeah. I'll give you. A quote. There's a cut on the 19th. Oh, it's multiplied for some trees we do.
Oh, okay, yeah,
No, and in there it shows you where the trees are gonna go. We gotta map it out. Like
okay, and this is the other plan, yeah. Okay.
And it includes delivery, so deliver the trees, we just have to plant them.
And I've offered my services with the skid steer and the auger. Spud the holes, but we'll probably need Aaron to help us. Put them all in, I'll make it out. And he's gonna have to cave in.
Yesterday.
And you just sent it, but maybe she just might have sent it to
Well, maybe it's just the council.
council, she may not have sent it.
So are they gonna deliver the trees?
Yes,
you guys said? Okay, that includes.
So if it'll take, if someone have to order it in, so once it could go, it'll take about 10 to 12 days to get it.
It's the same. Just trying to. So this?
So this is the same, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It says here, it's labeled where they're going on the map.
Oh,
Okay, there's a map.
Any action in
These
your
are
house?
all those
Can you look at your house?
You go here, it's a moving map, and there's the label, and you see.
Oh, community has been.
So that's
Okay,
how you, here,
Not much selling.
what trees are where.
got it, okay, cause yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah.
There, perfect. So this is the cost that we're looking
That's the
at.
bottom cost, and for the attached delivery.
The most you place costs a lot of money, about 6%.
Everything you need there for.
Okay.
There's.
So we're looking at,
Up there.
I'm just gonna round it.
That's what.
They have to probably know regular.
Yeah, she can order them ASAP.
And you just said are you donating your services? Okay. And you guys are being such gracious people, you're donating your services?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so.
We just
then-
need Aaron to do the Alberta one calls where those are going.
Okay, yep, that's
And
easy.
he has to supply the cage, the screen to cage them after they're put in because the deer will have a hay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here needs to
Yeah,
go
it was-
the screening,
And we'll need his assistance in putting him in the hole.
we are,
Yeah. Would. Be part of it.
Yeah.
3 per circle.
okay,
Three, is that what it is?
I think that's what he.
so you guys will set a date that you're going to have these delivered and
So
so.
as soon as we approve it, it's down the order.
Yeah, I'll get them, as soon as you guys approve it, and then she can get them ordered. And
Okay,
once she has them, and until time for her to come out, and meanwhile, we can have the whole redug and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's.
We've already approved the letter.
The next, so I think we can go
And
in.
it was in the budget.
Stan just wanted to present this stuff.
We approved it like a couple,
Possibly approved.
couple of weeks.
let's just double check, I'll make sure all the numbers are right.
Yep.
At least we gotta make it.
We just got
Under a
rid
minute.
of last month, wasn't it? Meeting?
Um,
I think so. Or was it further?
I have to go back a little farther.
Here, 3 years, we have some color in that village.
Yeah, in the fall.
When did you guys first, when did you come to the village? Well,
3 plans, okay, 5,000, good,
When-
okay, we're still good, so
We're under budget.
we're under budget,
They found-
yes, I like it when I hear it's under budget,
Text that,
yes.
I'll just text that.
Well, we just make a motion to,
You already made a motion though last.
Yeah.
$5,000.
to
So I'm just
get it
presuming,
going.
To
we're
accept
just
the
going, you guys are gonna accept his information.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
So, yeah. You're texting her now?
Yep,
Okay, we're approving it,
it's done, she's now
the
text.
text has been sent, so that it's approved and
We
all.
got the
So
go.
Aaron can have the map so that he can see the Alberta one calls.
Yes, he needs to have this.
So we can have that.
He doesn't
Okay,
do that.
perfect.
He doesn't?
I set him up. It's all ready to go. It's all ready to go on his phone. You betcha.
Comfortable?
He has to be comfortable. I showed him how easy it is.
And that's it, okay, thank you.
That's where the Mayflower homes are.
Yeah. You could, okay, now let's pull up a map like this and start marking exactly. the
Okay,
location.
so we still have to make a motion to accept the video and the council reports as presented.
I'll make that.
You and I can go around and, let's say it's where the trees are, and what trees are going there.
Perfect.
Okay.
You're approving the reports too.
No.
The reports.
Are you all in favor?
Yeah.
Okay.
And how does the check get sent to her out of that work?
I will just, she'll give us the invoice and then I can mail her the check, so.
All right,
Yeah.
that's how it's.
That's what it says, that our Roshan Sanchez had to do some tree replanting, so that's what we just did.
Okay. I'll contact you today and.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
got all that. Send.
I just send her a check, yes. She knows, and I live like 2 miles from her,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's handy.
that's good. Where the trees in? One at a time.
And that's on my own house. Okay,
Okay, there was under business, community standards bylaw.
Yes, so
18.
yes, so what I did is I did some minor amendments on the Schedule A. Just so you're aware. But I attached the old bylaws so that, but I revamped it, the Schedule A, and just redid the bylaw that way. So the ones that are changed is 3.29. 3 point,
Just a minute, there.
page 29 of, or
49.
It's 29.
49.
page 29,
29 to 49.
yes.
Yeah.
Very important. So really, there was only like 3 or 4, camping and tenting on public land, we changed that. We changed it from 250 to 500 and 1,000. 3.30 changed the first offense and second offense. 3.32, 3.33. And I think there was one more,
You did,
3.36.
you did 3.32 as well.
Yes,
Okay, and which other one?
3.3. I think that one was changed. I know I made the adjustments there just to make it so that when I go to do the South Shore thing, I can actually say we have an actual bylaw that says we've got some offenses.
Okay. So I think probably this should be advertised as well.
The community standards bylaw, if you wish me to advertise it, yes, if you do first reading, then I can advertise it, we'll throw it in the newsletter and just say that we're amending the Schedule A fines.
Yeah.
The community standards bylaw.
So with 3.30, like.
Yeah.
We're still sort of negotiating with. Province on where to store. Boat lifts and.
Yeah,
docks.
that's kind of a tough one.
That's a tough one. It's, yeah, that's gotta be in our shoreline management plan.
Yeah,
basically.
sure. But
But at this point in time, we're not supposed to have any.
I know, but I mean, it's. It, to me, it. Like, to store them anywhere else is gonna cause a lot more damage and stuff, because you know.
Yeah, that's ongoing one. It's just.
We have a right to turn a blind eye anyway.
Well,
Kind of what we're doing.
If they have now with the dock permitting system, and if they have a permit that has a tag, if they have a tag on it. I can drive it.
yeah, the tags are,
There you go. Did it stay on?
you know,
Oh, well, I tried.
the writing is gone.
Oh, okay. We've been talking about coming up with something better too for that.
I even tried a Sharpie.
Bob, this one here, park store. Boat lift dock vehicle. Basically, up top on the roads, the road right away, there's
Yes.
some boat trailers
Oh,
out
okay,
there.
yeah,
And then I've also been, it's the same thing with the camping. In the village, the cold way, I wasn't down there, but guess on the long weekend, there was a bunch of trailers in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, they blocked off the fire lane thing.
With Nicole.
Bar Harbor.
Yeah, to our harbor road. In case of emergency,
What's there?
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
Make sure the black house.
this area covered Galesburg.
Weird, yesterday.
Yeah. Well, we figured out all that.
Trailers, bunch of them parked in there.
Yeah.
and then there was one reported to me on Front Street too. People staying all weekend, well, we're in a position now since our W has been approved by conditions that we're gonna have to take care of our village more and more with parking on the side of the road. With the where the signs are, you have to put more signs up. The fire marshal came out, the fire chief came out and said in the new second phase of Ranch Estates, there should be no parking on either side on the side. Because the ditches go straight down for the most part, right? So if there's 2 vehicles parked on either side, they're not getting through there.
Have you ever seen vehicles parked there?
I never know, but there's, you have signage up for it. And also, second to that, we never put in the development agreement about the residential sign for properties either, so we're gonna have to do that. So then the closest that we can get to it in parking.
But moving forward, we're
Okay.
gonna deal with those things in developments.
Okay.
But either way, so it's some minor changes on the Schedule A, schedule of fines, so I'm looking for council to do first reading. And then if you want me to advertise it in the newsletter, like, it doesn't really have to be advertised.
Well, why don't we do the readings? And then just put it out as. Send it out as information, so people know that the community standards bylaw is there, and they can read it, and they can read the fines.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not gonna be any public outcry about fines, because we have to do this.
That's
So we are.
So my thing to council would be do first reading. We're going to put it in the newsletter so that we're making people aware that you just.
And Facebook.
And website and Facebook, and then we'll bring it back for second and third.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay, so I have.
The only other one to that would be, did you go through the community standards bylaw, and is it still wording adequate in?
For the best thing for me would be to have it seeked to have it fully reviewed by a lawyer. But at this point, I just need to know what our first and second offense, because I'm already in the process of using this bylaw right now. So I'm not changing anything other than the offenses, because I'm working on investigating a non-compliance property right now.
Yeah, so, and actually, this was made, that community standards bylaw was made by attorney and other communities.
Yes, so to me, if you guys, I didn't see anything wrong with the bylaw at this point in time, other than the fines don't
So
too low.
does the schedule have to go through meetings? Or can it just be approved? It's just a schedule.
I did the whole bylaw instead of, because there's a new thing you have to do to consolidate or amend. It gets very difficult. We did the whole bylaw itself with the new schedule and repealed the other one. It's just simpler, brings it forward, it's done.
Okay.
Than trying to piecemeal little bits and pieces that nobody seems to catch. This way it just says, okay, it's been 14715 is repealed, this one's now in effect when you do the third reading.
Okay, so can we do 3 readings today?
If you want, or you can do first and second and wait and do third. It's not gonna change anything at this point in time, because I've got a process I gotta go through with this landowner.
Okay, well, 1, 2, 3.
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
But we have to make a resolution to do the 3rd.
that's right. We must all agree.
Yeah, give me a second. Okay, oh crap.
You all agree that it's changed the fines.
Yeah, I think some of it. If you guys want to kind of study it
Well,
later.
This
Yeah.
3.14. I think that one should be maxed right out.
You want that higher?
I would go, because I mean, you're involved, almost involved, and you could be involved in racism and stuff that we've already experienced.
So I think what you guys really should do, this is my honest opinion, recommendation. Do first reading, review this bylaw. If you see more changes you want, then when we come back to the next meeting, you amend it. And then you can approve the amendments,
And I guess.
or do the last readings.
It is that through the court system, when you go to, work over some of the fines that are there, if they're in excess. The judge. Like.
So if we boost these up, we're asking too much, is what you're saying?
Not on the ones we did, but if you wanted to really increase one a whole bunch. You'd be,
Looks at a uniform or.
you'd be, getting the water sometimes, because it's too excessive. For the action. And so you gotta watch that.
Okay.
Is that right?
Okay, so this is what I have to approve first reading. The community standards bylaw 196-23 as presented and post on the website, newsletter and Facebook. Okay,
It wants to do the motion.
yeah,
So we can do first and second, and then the next meeting do third, or?
Yeah, you can do first and second, and then do the other one. It's usually nicer to have a separation between your final reading.
Yeah,
Because then it allows us to let people know that this is what council's reviewing, and they can look at it. And it's notification.
so first and second, can we do that?
Sure.
Because it's like the land use bylaw, we still got that, and then the next meeting, we can just do third.
Third and final reading. Yes, yes. So. Who wants to do motion for second reading?
who wanted to do the first one though?
Oh, the first one.
The first one,
Lauren is doing the first one,
Okay.
all in favor?
Yeah,
Okay, hold on.
and then the next one will be the second reading and then to post. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I'll do the second reading.
Excuse me, Bob.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay,
So we still have the opportunity to make changes on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and if you. I think probably it'd be best to just concentrate on that last schedule there instead of the whole document.
Yeah.
Because it could mix up,
This one here you're talking about.
this is, yeah, this is, proceedings.
yeah,
Well, there's only one here that I would like to see changed, and that's the writing on 3.14. Yeah, I'd like to change that in placing graffiti or any racist comments on
Maybe,
any property.
maybe what we could do is, compare it to other community
Sure.
standard bylaws.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's bring it back next meeting anyway, so,
yes.
all right. Correspondence.
I had on their business,
We got that second one we're gonna do.
Sorry.
Planning and development
Sorry.
contract.
I'm going to make these, okay.
Planning and development. Contract. Because it is contract for our planning and development. Officer. planning and development. And if we wish to postpone and go through the rest of the correspondence and move it into camera, that's up to council.
Do it.
I just think we have a problem, so. The stuff is not getting addressed quickly enough, and you can see by. Some of the delegation that we had here today, that was part of the problem. That's only a small part. Like, we have to resolve this because it's just gonna keep. It's, I mean. The lady is. Got 4 full-time jobs. I mean, she doesn't, what she does for us is wonderful, but it's just, the timing isn't. There.
Well, I think. I don't think we're gonna get a better person to do
Well,
the job,
No,
and so if we just need to maybe. Just suggest that things need to get done in a timely manner, maybe
Yeah.
that's that solve it or something.
And I guess
'Cause I
for
don't-
me, I'm gonna ask the question, when you mean timely manner, because we have the legislation in place. We know that the time frame for a development permit or an application, complete application comes in. Not just a question, but a complete application. We have 40 days to get that delivered,
We're usually under that.
and we're usually under that. So.
but I mean, there's times when she will not answer emails, phone calls.
So,
That shouldn't be 48 waiting period.
Well, I don't think it's always 4 days, I mean, I think the thing.
yeah, that's not.
I think people these days expect instant answers, and sometimes things need to be researched a bit, and, you know, I mean, maybe she's on holidays, or, you know, people even send something on a Sunday or whatever, and things like that, so. I don't know, I mean, if there's specific complaints, I mean, then let us know, but I mean.
Well,
I honestly think they-
no,
Yes,
that we have to let them.
Yeah, because I think that Leanne does a great job and. I think
Well,
she's got-
I'm certainly
and
not
she's-
arguing that point.
And she's got Angela, you know, she's got Angela sort of taking over
Mhm.
and stuff like that, and you know, Angela's, so I mean,
like, I will admit, I think, can we tweak some things a little better? You bet. I'm going to admit, there's areas we need to, as administrative, tweak better. Do I think also that some of the things that are coming through development could be dealt with in a better manner than just question after question without paying for your permit? How much free do we give out before we start saying, you need you want answers to questions, fill out the permit to get the permit process going instead of question after question and then saying, oh, well, now here's my permit. I want it now. Well, no, you wasted three weeks. The fees have to come in to cover the costs that you're incurring on taxpayer dollars to do this stuff. So for me, I guess some of it is educating them. Like, I've just gone through a whole evening with one email with a person to tell me that, well, I don't need a permit. Actually, you've asked for so much advice, you need a permit to continue the process. Like, I could spend 5 hours on one question. Just like the individuals here that presented to you, I spent half a day back and forth trying to explain stuff when it's a simple, come and ask council directly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think.
But I truly believe that a lot of the complaints up there are not wrong either,
Are not what?
are not wrong either. They have a right to be complaining because,
So I think that's where putting it in writing.
Yeah.
And then we've got documentation and we can deal with the issue. Because perception and reality need to
Yeah.
come together.
Yeah.
yeah, and you know, the thing is, Ed, I mean. You know, there's two sides to every story, and sometimes somebody comes and says, well, I did this, and I did this, and I did that, and I wrote this, and I wrote that, and. You know, it's like we get into, like, we're bound by some confidentiality, and people can say whatever they want, but, you know, but trying to, you know, it's like when I was a dentist, if somebody thought I treated them wrong, they could go bad and want me all they want, but I'm bound by confidentiality, and I gotta keep my mouth shut, right?
Yeah,
So. Some of the stuff you're hearing, some of it may be true, but there are parts of it that may be skewed too, right? You know,
There's also the transition between Angela and Leanne. Like, Leanne can do subdivision agreements and stuff like that, and hire Ann. And she's involved with quite a bit, but Angela can do the permitting
Yes.
according to the land use bylaw, it'll get. Once it's transitioned over, then it'll be a hell of a lot easier.
yeah, it'd be more efficient.
Leanne can't be.
No.
Not when she's the CAO. better.
And then you've also got the RV permits. To me, if she has to spend so much time on these RV permits that come in nonstop. Maybe that's more where we can tweak and get better on this end, so she's dealing with just the development permits.
Yeah.
That's so,
Seen RV firms really close to a deadline that they wanted.
yeah,
Right, so people need to know that, like for that case, they sent ample time, I don't know what happened there, cause it was sent to the other people. But like I've had I'm gonna have 4 people come for this weekend. And then,
and they send it on Friday.
or Monday or whatever, right? So there has to be communication that if you're gonna do these permits, you have to give time as well.
Yes, like it's like the plowing of snow off your driveway. If you wanna come out on the weekend. And you want access to your property, we asked for 72-hour notice. And then we get somebody out, we clear the ridge off, rest is your responsibility. Maybe it's that same thing that we need 72-hour notice to be able to process and collect the money, not just send it and say, here, because then again, that's a revenue source that we have to tighten up.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that just need to work. I'm sure they'll get that, but maybe not right away, but this is probably one. And one that it's got a, like a, thinking Angela's, you know, to bang, 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 bang.
Yes. And this is where we wanna tweak, and we've got an idea, we need to investigate it further, but we think we could handle that part. Right here with the TFAs. Because now that they've downloaded that onto the municipality, we need to come up with a better way to be able to process, report, and out. And collect fees. So it's gonna become the same way, because a lot of these things they'll email. We don't have a fee. So that's a revenue source that is provided by those people and their uses, that's not on the burden of the rest of the taxpayers. So we just gotta tweak that and get that better.
Hopefully that happens.
I'm crossing my fingers and you can come down on me when it doesn't.
Okay,
Okay,
so correspondence to response about RW.
Okay, so with this 9.2, that was the addition, do you wanna just do a motion to accept as information?
Yeah, I think so,
Okay,
and information back to Great Hook.
okay, with a grateful outlining. Concerns of permit time frame.
And in the same one, you could let them know that you're taking the RV back. And
I mean, yes, I'm not sure, I mean. Sending a vague letter,
Kind of my concern here. Maybe
I'm
it's
not sure I wanna send a letter, I mean, if there's a specific concern, then
Then deal with it.
deal with it, but I don't wanna send a vague letter and
that's
say,
true too.
and it says. Well, we have some concerns about your timeframes, I mean, I'm not even. I don't know about these things, I don't wanna be part of that letter, you know?
I guess for me, I'm in agreement with you as to,
If it's,
if there's a concern, then you're gonna document it in a letter format to the contractor. And then you can decide whether you want to review their contract or go out for an RFP. It's your call. But if you're just doing generalities,
I don't like that, I think if there's somebody that's got a specific concern, they can write to Melissa. Send the concern and then she can speak with Angela or Leanne or whoever
regarding that
regarding that
concern,
specific concern, but I like vague letters.
No, I agree with that. I
Unsubstantiated.
agree with that too. But we should let them know about what we're changing.
well, that I'll have those conversations
yeah,
with them. So
that's-
this motion to accept this as information
Yes,
would be the best approach.
that's my thing.
Make motion to accept. Planning development to.
Development.
Contracted. Is information, want to put that through? Take it as information,
Yeah.
Lauren, okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, now which ones?
RW. The meeting that they had.
Yes.
Fairly well attended, but it was a Thursday at 1 o'clock. And most of the residents, you know, are from. Town working. There were still a lot of people there. And then, once the. That was done, then Leanne sent out questions, and then this is the answer back from. From the county on that. So I think probably the main part would certainly be, water servicing, so before anybody's in the park, they have to have the water ready to be hooked up. They're gonna take it from the county.
What's up in the picture? Thank you very much.
Just a new printer scheme.
Oh.
So with the water servicing, one thing is that was asked, that. And before occupancy comes to the bar W, it has to have full water hookup. They're gonna take it from the tanks in Ocean Sand site. The wastewater is gonna go to the reverse plan. Till such time as the regular issues are resolved. But then they said that there would be, they figure around 56 trips inbound and outbound every 3 days. And they suggested that we make a road agreement with the county for the trucks to come down our road launch with it. I said to them, that's gonna be one of the biggest hurdles. And so I don't know how council's gonna feel about it when the time comes, but it could be probably 16 months out before the event is gonna be figured out, as well as we have to, or we made verbal that we want to be in on that as much as we can. But if we don't want them trucks down our portion of 40-4, which I described as a residential street, which it is, and it affects 61 properties, and I didn't go into the village, I used all the sacks and then a few on the road just at the entrance for the truck. Then it's I just said to the meeting people, you could take the sewer down to 835 to 601 over to Red Road. There's no difference of going down Boat Launch Road to Highway 56 and then down to 601. What's the difference? There's none. So I'm thinking, okay. And if we had to put a restriction on that road, you can exempt the people that are on village and farm. I mean, we have the power to do that. It's gonna be a while down, but we should think. And I guess three things. I don't know how far or how long it's gonna take, but they got a lot of conditions. And what it's gonna cost them and get things up to some.
So I guess within this letter, there was a point that they were asking, and I was wondering if council, how they want to proceed with this. If the Summer Village is interested in becoming a participant in the Red Road Lagoon, County Administration suggests the appropriate venue for this ask and follow-up discussion is a meeting of the ICC, which is why I said this will be coming up. And set up under our intermunicipal collaboration framework, a written outline of the Summer Village's proposal about what participation may entail would be appreciated as a starting point for these discussions.
Yeah.
So do you want to have me send a letter? What's the motion for this letter? And what do you
Well, I think the intent was from council is to get involved with some of the red.
okay?
For down in the future. then it would prevent us from getting cut off of anything. And hauling to Vashon is a completely different situation than hauling to Red Mill, if Red Mill was done properly. And what we also got to realize that we're just a little fish in the pond, so we can only do what we can do, right? Whether it's a contribution, well, it'll have to be a financial contribution. And also maybe get Ocean Sands on board as well to do a collaborative grant funding application for a pipeline or swale, whatever Glen Burtson agrees to an environment, and then work on it together. Financially, I don't know. And what funding we could use, like we still have some of that NSI, because that ones that we're spending now ends in for up until 2018.
Yep.
So there is funding after that, but I don't really know. That's unless council doesn't want to have anything to do with it. No, I can't see. Like I've said before, I've got 2 studies at home for sewer. And it's been years and nothing's been done. And I don't know how long we're gonna be stuck with hauling stuff like that.
Definitely. I think long term, that Red Bull, if it goes ahead, we want to be involved with that because. It's certainly a lot closer than all in the Vashon.
Well, we might get shut down.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and you don't have anywhere else, like when I checked around, the only ones that would take, and I checked a lot of villages and towns would give us the phone. And can you imagine hot calling to the phone in Vashon? Alex is in trouble. Stettler won't take it, because they're getting maxed out. I don't think we have any choice but to.
That's what you talked to Mr. T House, the farmer. And the farmer offered to build a lagoon for White Sands. If he paid for it, he has the equipment to build it and everything, and then it would be our lagoon. But
I don't know.
Mr. T, he had an appointment with Dean, and Dean didn't follow up on the appointment to discuss it.
Okay, this is where the problem is gonna come in. As soon as you say it's for a municipality, there's a whole bunch of different regulations that are gonna fall into play. So I can understand his thought process, and even if he sat down with me right now to say like, he'll build it, but it's still gotta be licensed and it's still gotta go through Alberta Environment, and as soon as you list a municipality, it's a whole nother ballgame. Because the regulations are tight. Now, what he is doing at this point. Just going on to a farmer's.
He's got it approved, it's been approved by the county. He had to go to the county to get it approved, he was shut down until he got permits and approval and everything. And then he had reopened up again to
Just for the
summer months.
So again, there's a whole, this is not just summer. This is, we're talking year round.
Yeah, that might be worthwhile talking to.
Yeah, it's like, is there an advantage there to maybe? You're saying there's a problem getting to these other places. Can we create our own place?
Well, that's when the South Buffalo Lake 2 plans for sewer were done by engineering companies, both of them were there. Red Bull wasn't included in that because that wasn't. And then there was some concern about crossing from the Red Deer River Basin to the Battle River Basin. So, as well, that rate line to the Battle River Basin is around Pleasant back area. So there is a bunch of those.
Yeah, I can sit down and have a discussion with him, I'm just gonna gather info, but again,
To see what info he has.
Yeah,
for
right.
permitting and stuff.
Maybe
and see
we might be
where
right.
he is, because if he doesn't have Alberta Environment's approval,
I think it is.
we're gonna.
I think I think that's probably does, but you can. If you won't skip the. Meeting with the Mr. T,
Mhm.
he'll come and talk to you.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with, actually, we
He
do,
had one with Dean and Dean
He didn't show.
to the show up and.
I mean,
He cut this off.
appointment, came to the hall, Dean was an no-show.
oh, okay,
He took the day off work.
And then Dean said, well, I'll make another appointment, he said, no,
Do that.
screw you.
Well, yeah, I guess we're talking.
Yeah.
yeah, I can, give him a call, we actually use them for quite a bit of stuff
Yeah,
anyway,
he did
so. So I think it's just out in the community,
Yeah.
so big,
That's how probably,
You might know something we don't.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to be. Give anybody Howard, but we gotta be careful what comes from Howard as well.
yeah, I mean, it's all.
I mean, serious, we gotta watch that because we're also on Zoom. Right, and we have to make sure that council. I mean, it's not, so we don't appreciate. The information, but we gotta be careful.
and I would have to check with the county too prior to a meeting to make sure everything's in check.
Yeah, but you can.
Yeah. Yeah,
So some village association conference we've done.
We had a motion to go to it.
Yeah, and all society events. I hope they're okay. For all society, I don't know. I think they were a little bit short of volunteers. And I'm not for sure on that, but. That's the trouble. As long as they're not gonna. Overwork themselves.
so can I go back to this county letter
Oh,
and
yes.
just, I'm thinking, do you want to do a motion to say, yes, we wanna do an ICC meeting? Propose a week or some date?
Yeah,
And that, the village would like to discuss participation prior to participation into lagoon repairs and things through the ICC. I'm just throwing something out there. Anybody have something better?
yeah, no, I think that sounds good, and maybe. Get. You want me to touch base with Danny and see if they would be interested as well, like I think kind of have before.
I think that we should have a meeting first with the
Okay.
county, because I think we do have a separate ICC, ICF. Collaboration agreements, right? I think they were
Right,
separate
they are
between
separate.
municipalities. So first, it should be us sitting down, letting them know, and with backing of council, what do we consider participation entailing?
Agree to an ICF meeting between county staff and Southern Hills White Sands to discuss, say that again.
To propose
Okay.
the village council's. Okay, the wording just got lost here.
Participation in the. Collaboration and
Future project.
No, repairs including funding options.
Repairs. For the regular lagoon repair or,
Okay, let's back up here.
yeah,
I think they've got, and the sounds of things. They've got a timeline. And the plan has been
Yes.
approved. But I don't know what it is, like I didn't get that much.
Okay. Motion to set up an ICC meeting with the county.
between county, separate village of White Sands. To propose,
For participation proposal into the Red Willow Lagoon through financial
I don't
assistance.
think you need to get specific, like just say that participation in the red. And then
To start the discussions
start the
on,
discussion about the participating in the red, and then we don't have to be specific, we're gonna talk
The
about.
red balloon, so to propose for participation in the red balloon.
Yeah, that's gonna be. That's gonna get covered.
yeah, it's not open that door. You better be ready to take everything and bring it back and approve what their proposals, yeah.
Yeah, propose for participation in the red balloon, or regarding red balloon.
Red Bull Lagoon maintenance and upkeep moving forward, because that's what it's gonna be.
Okay,
So
so I can read it. Okay, to agree to an ICC meeting between the County of Stellar and the Summer Village of White Sands to propose for participation regarding the Red Willow Lagoon maintenance and upkeep moving forward. It's wording this, doesn't sound right in one part when I go to the last night. Yeah.
Do you? Into you.
So County of Steckler.
Lost you. What's that time to? Oh, yes, team.
Like 36 yesterday. By the first 9 and 2.5, was 18 and 2.5 hours. Started at 9:30, it was noon. Got a text from 2 other guys that were starting at 1, so. Stay in place.
The leaves are falling, it's already tiny ball.
We got the leaf rule. Can't find your ball, you don't take it at least stroke.
I like that.
Isn't it getting older than please?
Yeah, you have to give me short sleeves, it's cold in here.
You have to toughen up. You have to toughen up.
I'm gonna talk with the jacket off.
Yeah.
It's a way to, it's raining. Oh, no, hold on.
Okay,
Now shut up.
all right. To have administration provide a request letter to the County of Stellar for an ICC meeting to discuss the Red Willow Lagoon funding options. Involving Summer Village participation in repair, maintenance and upkeep. For the lagoon to allow White Sands access for sewage dumping from the municipality.
Because right now you don't have access.
Yeah. Sounds good. Certain. Definition.
Okay,
Okay, and now I can drop it over.
I'll agree.
Right.
okay,
Okay, I guess I was at the hall today. I just hope they're okay with this phone too. I just got it from the computer.
Okay.
So then there's a letter from 48, page 48 commission to restore it all and vote it on municipal and environmental sewer. Answer that at all?
I haven't yet because I need your guys' permission because according to our compliance. Community standards bylaw, you're not allowed.
Yeah. See, that's.
And then Alberta Environment,
You don't really want to do anything in writing, for sure,
okay,
and I think where does he want to put it? It's just down below where he has it in law.
it's in the letter, nope, he just wants to put it on the shoreline municipal and or environmental reserve as outlined in the 2023 dock and mooring registration tag letter.
We're allowed to store it on municipal reserve, right?
On municipal, yeah. That's your guys' fault.
And we haven't really, like, we don't have a shoreline plan yet saying that,
Right,
there's nothing in writing, so, I mean, what the thing is with this legislation. The government put out, it's absolutely ludicrous for our shoreline, because CJ1, CJ2. Just what all of it is right away. Like it goes right up to private property. So.
37 miles away, right?
Pretty cool. With the
Well, he's not,
He's off, he's back.
he's on his back lot, so
So he's gotta be somewhere, maybe down at the end of Front Street or,
Oh, he's way up here.
yeah,
Oh. Okay,
could you just phone him and ask him more information?
I can see you, just give me a second.
I guess for me, what I need is clear direction from you guys on, are you going to open this door? Do you want to allow for as long as it is on municipal reserve if they
Well,
request it? Do I authorize, or do you wanna just say not dealing with it? Back lot or front lot?
Well, I don't have a. GS for this.
Well, you know, this has been the issue, right? The whole shoreline management plan is. That's what we need to negotiate. Which is
Because-
shoreline management.
Right.
that has to actually be attached to our lease.
Actually,
Yeah, so we need to,
what I'm trying to do.
we need to, something that. In our meetings, so.
Right. But here's the thing you're gonna run into, whether you negotiate this or not in your lease. And they say, okay, you can do it once on your municipal reserve. So, okay, we know that this is municipal reserve, right? Here's the thing. Here's your front lot owners. This is a back lot owner. You start allowing. When they ask, and this is, if you allow this, they're gonna put it somewhere in here, which could end up in front of a property owner. Right? Are you ready to deal with that property owner saying no?
That,
Coming back to you,
that's happened already, but not too much.
okay?
And 40, I think just about 40 some odd percent of the people that have. Machinery in the water, whether it be dock or lift, is on the back lot owners. But as far as the legislation goes, every lakefront owner is also a back.
Unless you're in Nicole way.
There's only 7 properties.
Yeah.
Yeah, right up here,
That aren't, because they touch the road.
yeah, there. Yeah. So I guess,
I would just say, at this point, we are still. It's something, it's still a work in progress,
okay,
it's a work in progress.
it's a work in progress, and at this point in time, I cannot give authorization, is that what you're looking for, until we get this?
He has his equipment down there that's in the water already. He's just looking to pull it on shore and leave it, like everybody else does. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm thinking too.
I think just. I would just at this point say. do what you've always done until we sort this out.
It sounds like it's brand new though.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
As far as putting equipment down there.
Yeah,
I think a phone call.
that phone call.
okay, so you want me to further investigate this?
I
And
don't care, because then it won't go through your house.
I didn't hear about it. So
Okay.
accept everything as information, and if you want to investigate,
The number there.
okay.
Great, so we're gonna.
I'm just concerned, if you do a resolution and you open a door for one person, you must be ready to do it for the whole.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, this is still just a work in progress, because we're still trying to
Yeah.
sort through this, right?
Never
Because
different.
because it's. But the rules are, in my opinion. Absurd, and we have to. Come up with the most environmentally friendly way to store this stuff.
Yeah.
Without having to rip down a bunch of trees and.
To be honest with you, we told. Yeah. We're not gonna be enforcing
Yeah,
nothing.
I think it falls down to once you do your thing again.
No, we're not enforcing. There's no way.
And that's where we have to, because I think that's gonna be the battle we're gonna have when we do put in our shoreline management plan, that they're.
They're gonna put that on. That's a bunch of horseshit, because they don't have staff. The staff has changed 3 times in the past 5 years. And the office is closed in Red Deer, you've gotta have an appointment to get in there, there's no one there. Like, Carlin is in Camrose and that Chad or whatever. You know, they're having trouble, the government has just messed this thing up since 2011.
It's because it's just another download, and it always has been, they come up with a policy and they download it on the municipality, and now you're covering the cost and you're the front line of their mistake. Nothing you can do other than try to come up with the best solution to make it easier for yourselves.
We gotta protect ourselves, and if the government wants to come in here and start moving everything around and dragging it all along that beach, I'll be the first one down there with a video camera and I'll send it to the National Post. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like, it's just stupid. I've been dealing with this for years.
my only concern is because when I first got here and there were so many that had been stuck in the municipal reserve and hadn't moved and were deteriorating, and it became things that we had to remove.
yeah, you don't want derelict stuff, but
Exactly,
We took care of that because I walked the beach every June, because there was a deadline in the
Yeah.
newsletter. And I took pictures, published it in the newsletter, the pictures,
Yeah.
this stuff is in trouble. 100% of them got back to me,
yeah,
and a lot of them that didn't, it just disappeared. That area along our beachfront is actually pristine compared to what it was before. But of
Yes.
course, this year, we couldn't do anything like that because the water isn't there to put the stuff in.
yeah, but I just want, like, cause I do remember
Yeah.
that year that I got here, it was, and we moved a lot of stuff.
You
Yeah,
should have
we
seen
don't.
it before you got here.
Yeah.
Tractor trailer units with flatbeds.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Landfill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so at this point, you just wanna do,
Accept the correspondence as information.
yes,
Want to do that?
I'll do that.
Okay, okay, we're gonna pay them last. Alright, and then we're into camera, because. Had something on camera?
yeah, I don't know, you didn't really tell me anything.
Dan, get your phone out of your now.
Thank you, everybody. Well, you come on camera,
Yeah.
It has to be recorded on the Zoom machine.
no resolutions outside of the.
Okay, you're recording. Coming out of camera.
Hey, motion to come on a camera more, 1:30 P.M.
All in favor? Oh, yep. And motion or adjournment.
Okay. Who's doing that?
I'll do that.
Okay. Okay, over here.